Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Finance Junkies. We are here. Where are my glasses? We've got a new AMIT in town for the next week, as long as I'm sick. I am sick. I've had 100-degree fever for the past couple days, but we are still here. Carlos, KRIS, and VITALY are not going to be here tonight, but I do have a guest. And he's going to be here in a second, and he'll join with me. And we've actually got a lot of topics to talk about. It's kind of crazy because we've got so much to discuss, like an insane amount of things to discuss. We got Cathie Wood selling a shit ton of shares. She's buying this Bitcoin ETF. Microsoft getting sued. The Bitcoin miners going crazy. After hours. All this stuff. So I do have someone good who's going to be talking it all with me. But unfortunately, my fellow compadres are not going to be here. Why? KRIS might join, but I think he's busy doing some stuff with his wife. I think he's in Florida, or he might be back home, but he's busy. VITALY's on vacation in Michigan, and Carlos is in the hospital. He just sent us a pic with him and his wife, probably having a baby tonight. So unfortunately, he could not make up the podcast because he's having a baby. Nonetheless, I have someone special who's going to enjoy it. Yes, no employees today. Basically, when you're an entrepreneur, okay, you got to show up to work no matter what. I woke up today wanting to die, and I still did the market open because, honestly, the story was I really wasn't going to do it. I was like, this is the first day I'm going to take a day off because it was just bad last night. It was really bad. I woke up late. I was like, I already missed 20 minutes. And then I saw one tweet, and the tweet was, hey, Amit, no live stream? ? And I was like, fuck this. I'm doing the live. I don't care how late I am. We're getting to it, because we got to get to work. And who's going to help me finish my work off today is Mr. Dividend Streams himself. Steve, thank you for being here.
Yes, can I help you? I'm opening a fucking Coca-Cola.
You're so funny, and you don't even try. First of all, okay, so 71 people here. We're going to start talking stocks in about 10 minutes, okay? So we're just going to warm up the crowd, get some people in here because people did not know we were going live tonight. And then we have a lot of stock stuff to get into.
I'm gonna write something down so I don't forget if we're not doing stocks immediately.
No, yeah. Okay, you have to see. Steve already has topics ready to go. We're gonna.
No, it was something I was thinking about before, and I was basically thinking to myself about something I should do. So,
okay, cool. First thing I want to discuss is, I started a new show. Well, no, first, before that, Steve, do you like my glasses?
I mean, they're freaking huge.
They're very Bobby Axelrod, don't you think?
They are not very Bobby Axelrod.
Why are they not very Bobby? It's
because
kind of
Bobby
fuck you
Axelrod
type of glasses.
Never wear something like that.
Okay, anyway, speaking of Bobby Axelrod, I started a new show, okay? Show is called Billions. Apparently came out in 2016. I started watching it. And look, it's a decent show. I'm gonna give it that. It's a decent show. The problem is
you right there. You don't have anything to compare it to because you don't watch TV or movies.
That is incorrect. Breaking Bad is
incorrect. Okay.
Simple comparison. It's not better than Breaking Bad.
Let's go down the list. Yeah, we're not going to go down the list, but anybody who would like to see the list, you can go to one of my tweets. Amit said I had that long list of movies. He saw 2 of them.
Look, the point is, I started Billions, and I'm watching this thing.
How many episodes in are you?
I'm in season 2, like episode 5. But the reason I've been able to get, which is like 15 episodes, the reason I've been able to get through it so quickly.
Yeah, I know. Don't say.
Let me finish. This is what I'm gonna say.
No.
The show has too much dialogue. Okay, it's like a fucking podcast. Every scene, there's 2 people talking. So you see this iPad?
These are the text messages. It's on iPad. Need to check Twitter during and skip through the talking scenes.
Dude, I'm gonna show you right now.
Who says that?
I'm gonna show you right now. So you see this little 10-second button? This is the greatest invention of all time.
Because you missed
all you have to do.
No.
And then we get to the action. And then if that's boring,
watch it.
And then we get to the action. Oh, new episode. Boom, ready to go. We're on the new. So I think I've discovered how to actually watch TV since I haven't watched.
You have discovered how to be ridiculous. You
No.
can do that. No. You can do that after you've already watched it and you want to go back and rewatch it. There are shows that I go back and rewatch all the time, but I've already seen them, so I can skip the scenes. Like Sopranos. I do not watch any of the scenes in the therapist's office.
Steven,
with the kids or
I'm
with the
not
wife.
going to stare at two people talking for barely any character
Don't
development.
watch the show then. Just stop watching.
What do you mean don't watch the show? There are good
Don't watch
scenes.
it.
You just got to get
Don't
through the
watch it.
bullshit and get
Just don't watch it.
boom. There you go.
Just don't watch it.
This is way
Just
better
stop.
than watching TikTok. This is just getting through the filler content. Every show is filler content. Like there's always filler content. Like
This show
for
does
example,
not
for
have
example,
filler content.
why do you think we have chapters in the podcast? Some people
does not
go to
have
certain
filler content.
chapters. They don't want to see us talk about
Billions
movies.
does not have filler content. Everything is in there for a
Oh,
reason.
Billions does not have filler content.
Does
Are
not
you
have filler content.
Billions has 1 billion hours of filler
No,
content. There's all
because
this
everything
stupid
ties
talking back
together.
and forth.
It ties together.
No. A lot
Look
of it
at the
doesn't. A
chat.
lot of it
Look
is
at the chat.
the chat agrees with me.
The chat does not agree with you.
This is the funny.
It does not agree with you.
Dude, I was thinking, like, what if I go to one episode and I just watch the 2-minute recap of the previous episode, you know, in the first beginning, like 30
No.
seconds, and then I figure out what happened.
Can
in the
I
last
ask you
episode, and then
something in all seriousness? There is one line in season 1 that is so fucking amazing. But I just remembered as I was saying this that you haven't even seen the
What's
movie
the
The
line?
Usual
What's the line?
Suspects,
What's
so
the
you
line?
wouldn't even understand it.
The Usual Suspects? No.
Yeah, you haven't seen it, so you wouldn't even understand the line when Dollar Bill says it when he's in the interrogation room. So whatever. I can't even say it.
Look, all I'm saying, Steven, is that
No, stop. Because I'm going to drive out to Jersey and I'm going to do something I don't want to do. Just stop.
okay. So I watched Billions, and I'm getting through that show. First, second thing I want to say is Wendy Rhodes. How do you feel about her?
You mean Tara Knowles?
No, her name is Maggie Siff. Her real name is Maggie
You
Siff.
mean Tara Knowles?
What are you talking about? Her name is Maggie Siff.
No, you don't watch TV, so there you go.
Oh, you're talking about Sons of Anarchy. Whatever.
Yeah, which is one of the greatest shows ever made.
How do you feel about The Therapist? Do you think she's the best character on the show?
No.
Who's the best character on the show, Steve?
Bobby Axelrod's the best character.
Okay,
Arguably, Wags is the best character. The two of them.
Wags is cool.
Wags is amazing.
You know what I don't like?
Number 4.
I don't like the Attorney General.
Oh, Chuck Rhodes is amazing.
I think they could have got someone better to do.
No, Paul Giamatti's awesome.
I think they could have got someone better. I really do.
Don't ever say that.
I'm not
Wags and Bobby Axelrod, and then I would say Dollar Bill Stern because he's just amazing.
Yeah.
Wendy Rhodes is very high up there.
Wendy Rhodes is hot.
She's awesome. Wendy Rhodes, great character.
Would you agree with me that she's hot?
She's a good-looking woman. I mean,
she got me interested in therapy. I'm thinking of like, shit, I need to get checked out. You know what I'm talking about?
You need to get checked out, but for other reasons because you're freaking great.
I need to go to a therapist here.
And there's so many good characters in that show. The show is so good, and you're watching it incorrectly.
Real quick, I'm just looking up the WhatsApp. Carlos officially had a little baby boy at 8:47 p.m. So about 20 minutes ago. Here we go. We got the news junkie. We got the Carlos. I'm not going to share the picture just out of privacy. I don't want to share the picture in case you don't want to share it. But shout out to Carlos. Everyone on Twitter. His Twitter's in the description. Go wish him a congratulations. He has a new baby boy. I put the StreamYard link in the WhatsApp, and then I just realized, oh shit, he had a baby boy. so
admit, you have not seen Entourage. You have not seen Sons of Anarchy. You have not seen Sopranos. You're watching Billions.
No.
Did you watch Industry at least?
No. Now, what I did watch was Scarface, and I think this movie was fucking trash. Okay, the level of just like raw character development was not there.
Is a classic. It is a very.
The guy dies
movie.
at the end. Like,
with you.
Say hello to my little friend was not iconic.
I will agree with you that some people that put in top 5 movies of all time have lost
are insane. No, they've lost they're insane.
They've lost all sense of reality. But to say that it is not a good movie is crazy.
It's not a good movie. It's objective. And maybe for the 1980s, it was a good movie. In 2023, it's trash. Finally, last thing I'll say, then we'll get to stocks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Boiler Room was garbage. Boiler Room was not a good movie either. It was like a poor man's Wolf of Wall Street. It was a really like just boring movie. So much, I had to skip through so much fucking dialogue because I don't have the attention span to listen to people talk. Like, you've got to be exciting at the end of the day. You know, this is not exciting. And so I think the character development was really odd. Vin Diesel was okay, but I didn't.
You're hurting my head.
I didn't enjoy it. Didn't enjoy it.
You're hurting my head.
Okay, cool. Anyway, so those are my thoughts. That's what I want to say. Now, I still think Dawson's Creek is better than all the shit I watched over the weekend.
Oh my God.
And you haven't watched Dawson's Creek. You haven't given it a shot. So you've got... Oh, Beef on Netflix is a great show. Have you seen Beef?
No.
I think you would love that. Beef.
I just rewatched The Night Agent because of how good it was.
Okay. Well,
because I'm gearing up for season 2, so I wanted to rewatch season 1. I rewatched season 1 last week, and I started rewatching The Recruit also. 2 phenomenal shows on Netflix. Can't say enough good things about them. Okay. I mean, did you at least watch Jack Ryan on freaking Amazon Prime? You haven't seen any of the freaking Tom Clancy movies, have you?
Who's Tom Clancy?
No, you did not just fucking say who's Tom
Clancy. No, legitimately, who's Tom Clancy? I swear I don't know who the fuck Tom Clancy is. I'm about to Google this guy right now. Who's Tom? What type of name is Tom Clancy? That's an American novelist. How old is this guy? Oh, this guy died.
Dude, do you read?
You've
never read. Tell me you've never read Without Remorse.
No. What the
how Clark becomes Clark.
Oh What's God. Without Remorse, dude? I don't know what the fuck.
Oh my God, you're killing me.
Without Remorse is a book. The first.
Yeah, it's a book, and Amazon did not do it justice with the movie they made. It was trash.
Dude, you know what I tried to watch last night? This last thing I'll say, then we're going to stocks. I tried to watch on Amazon Prime Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, don't. I swear to God, do not even say it 1 and 2. How dare you even try to watch that without watching the original?
No, I googled. Do I need to watch? And the movie.
Yes, you, like, you don't watch the original.
No, the movie people are like, you don't really need to watch it to understand.
They're all stupid.
Regardless, do you want me to say my opinion or no?
If you're gonna upset me, I would really rather not, because you are becoming absolutely ridiculous.
I could not get through the first 5 minutes of this fucking boring movie, dude. They're showing this training and all this shit. I'm like, what the fuck? This is the most ridiculous. I went on to YouTube. I was like, I'm gonna watch some streamer. This is so fucking boring, dude. It's not a problem with me. It's a problem with content that can't appeal to
Let me just explain something to you. The original Top Gun is one of the most classic movies ever. And Tom Cruise went to such a huge extent with the Navy to shoot Top Gun 2. There's no CGI in this. They did everything in the planes. When you watch how they made the movie, there's never going to be another movie like that.
Dude, I don't care.
You need to go into it with that perspective about how they made this movie.
You can say that. It was boring. It was boring. All right, we got to move on to stocks. Thank you, 197 people, for being here on your Christmas holiday vacation.
Do a full episode on just freaking movies. Like this.
We'll do a full episode on just movies. We'll do a full.
You're killing me.
All right, Steve. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the market. Here's the first thing I want to bring to your attention. You texted me about this, so you definitely saw this. Cathie Wood unloaded.
Yeah, you know what I was realizing? I watch more YouTube these days than anything else. So I was watching YouTube and I got the email with her thing. I texted you. I'm like, what the hell did she just do?
Well, she sold. So this is her ARC W fund, not the biggest fund, but she sold 100,000 shares of Palantir, 15,000 shares of AMD, 47,000 Shopify, 135,000 Unity, 125,000 Roblox, 281,000 Path, 231,000 Square, 148,000 Coinbase. She basically like rebalanced a lot today.
It looked like she was raising cash for something.
Well, this is what she raised it for.
Well, the Bitcoin thing.
4.3 million shares of
which it makes sense, because when you go through the list, AMD is up huge, Coinbase is up huge. I think Shopify.
It makes a lot of sense. Big. It was a good sell. It was a very good sell. And Beto, I've never heard of this thing before, but I clicked on it today. It is a ProShares Bitcoin strategy ETF. It's up year to date 101%. 3 months, it's up 55%. It's at $21 right now. And I think this is one of those ETFs that massively benefits when the ETF approval becomes live. What are your thoughts on this move and ultimately what she tried to do here?
I don't care. It's Bitcoin. Okay. I don't care one bit.
Well, so let me ask you this question, since you don't like making money, obviously.
No, it's not that. I just don't care. I'm the wrong person.
No, the reason you don't care is because you're not making any money.
No, it's not, dude, I could buy Bitcoin.
These are the Bitcoin miners. They've gone ballistic after hours today.
All right, can I tell you why I don't care, please?
Well, answer that. Tell me why you don't care, but also tell me why, as a capitalist, if something's running and you know it's going to go up if Bitcoin gets approved, why don't you have some allocation to these Bitcoin plays? Go ahead.
Okay. I will never buy Bitcoin for two reasons. One, because
You remind me of me when I was a child.
No. One, because
you remind me of me when I was a younger guy.
I am bitter, okay, because I could have made so much money. I could have bought the presidency at this point. Back in 2011, okay, 2011, 2012. I'm in the e-commerce division of Bed Bath at corporate, and me and the tech guys found out about freaking Bitcoin. You can go to a chart. Bitcoin was like $4 a Bitcoin. And we were discussing about how to mine it, how to do it and everything. And then Mt. Gox's hack happened. And there were all these hacks. There was no Coinbase. There was none of this stuff. It was the Wild West with buying it. There were people, no joke, there's a documentary somewhere on YouTube. I'll find it and send it to you. Bitcoin brokers in Brooklyn that you would go hand them cash and they would like send you Bitcoin. It was wild. We ended up not building a mining rig to mine it because of how involved it was and then because of how sketchy it was, I ended up not doing it. My wife was like, just put a couple grand in and whatever happens, happens. It was so annoying to figure out how to do it. I just got angry and I didn't do it.
Okay, but you're saying you missed out on gains, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't invest in something.
I probably would have never held it that far, but I had the opportunity at $4 or $5 and I just fucking passed on it. So I'm bitter.
Wait, $4 or $5 a coin on Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Wait, what year was this?
I told you 2011, 2012 when I was at Bed Bath.
Oh, so that's why you're pissed off.
In e-commerce with all the tech geeks.
Okay, so, I get the story. I resonated with it as well. But if you do believe crypto is real because you like Ripple, right? That's one of the
coins. So hold on. I didn't say that I think crypto is real. I'm going to catch a lot of heat for this. I think that there are two concepts that are real. Okay. Ethereum solves a problem. And I don't know how far it's going to catch on, but I like the premise around smart contracts. I think it's very good for business, but there's some flaws in it. XRP from Ripple solves a huge cross-border payment problem. And I do not think Bitcoin has any utility. I'll debate that with anybody who wants to discuss it. Bitcoin's a store of value because people believe it has value. Somebody's willing to pay $40,000 for a Bitcoin. It's worth $40,000. It's the greater fool theory. Bitcoin will probably always have value and it will probably go up because more people keep buying it. It could definitely go up, but it does not solve any type of monetary problem the way that XRP does. So I have a bunch of XRP because I believe in the utility of it. And I think that there is a small chance it can seriously impact the Swift.
Okay, network. but Steve, outside of the utility, this is a speculative investment. If
speculative investment is probably the best speculative investment ever.
No, so that's my point. Why aren't you speculating? So for me,
No.
But listen. No. See, I had your same mentality when I was a much younger fellow.
Don't care.
Okay? And my mentality, I said on this very podcast, look, I don't want to invest at 25,000 because even if it goes to 100, that's only a 4x. I could 4x on SOFI, right? Like I said, shit like that. I was wrong because the nature of the asset is that it's so volatile that it can move very quickly and you can make a lot of money, and a 4x is still great. Yep. And so my question to you is, why don't you want to speculate at all through any of the Robinhood or Coinbase or any of the proxy plays, even if it's not actually buying Bitcoin?
Yeah, a proxy play is fine. I could care less about Bitcoin. I'm good.
But you don't want to own any of the miners, anything like that?
I'd have to really, really look at the research on the miners.
I know it's not your investing style. That's why I'm asking. Like, do you want to just gamble, just a hell of it, throw 10,000 and just see what the hell happens?
Because there's other things I'd rather gamble on. Instead, I would rather take the money and go play craps.
Okay, that's all right. I mean,
I'm not a fucking crypto guy.
Dude, I'm not a crypto guy either, but I'm starting to realize this is a real thing.
I don't think it has utility. Tell me what I'm looking at the chat. Tell me what utility it has. Because it's divisible and you can send it. Look how long it takes for it to settle.
Let me share a clip. Hold on. I want to share this clip of this guy for 50 seconds. I want to know what you think about him. He's a young guy. He's big in the Bitcoin community. Let's listen to him 50 seconds, and I want to hear what you have to say.
Floor in Miami's tallest building. If silver's going to 1000x, I will walk into my kitchen right now. I will melt all my silverware and I will sell it at market. If gold is going to rally, Elon Musk will find more on Mars. Bitcoin is, this is a super important point. Bitcoin is the only monetary instrument in the history of our species that is fixed. It does not matter how much more demand comes into the asset class, Kelly, no one will ever be able to make more of it. There are two things I can guarantee you in my life. One, that I'll die, and the other, that there will only ever be 21 million Bitcoin. And those are what's the two things that I can only value as my life and my Bitcoin. So
Stop it right now.
fixed supply asset, Kelly, it's not that
Just
complicated. It's going to go up because everything else can be issued more. Does that make sense?
Why? I just noticed that the host's name is Kelly, which is so interesting. For so many reasons, it's so interesting. But go ahead. What are your thoughts?
The fact that he said those are the only two things he can guarantee is ridiculous. How about paying fucking taxes? Like right there, just stop. Two, if you don't think that these people who created Bitcoin, and I don't believe that whatever the guy's name is, nobody actually knows who he is. I don't believe it. I'm not going to say what I actually believe on this. But if you don't think that there's a way in the code to manipulate it and actually increase that at some point, whether that happens or not, there's a way to do it. Like I'm so sick of there's only 21 million of them. I'm so sick of it. So sick of it.
Okay, look, I agree with you.
And the fact that, and this guy's right, the fact that he said he'll take his silverware and melt it down, dude, silverware is not necessarily made out of fucking silver.
Yeah, that was kind of stupid.
That was an admit thing to say.
I'm so happy I didn't say that shit.
Like,
but regardless, I mean, at the end, I feel like I'm Carlos right now. Don't you think that if it goes to 100 grand and you bought some fucking clean,
people are going to make a lot of money, and I'm all good.
But don't you want to make money, Steven? This is about
I'm going to make money on other things. Like I'm good with people making money. I don't think that I'm hating on it. Make your money. I hope everybody makes a lot of money on it. I really do. It's not for me. I don't care.
Interesting. So is there any way you're playing this Bitcoin run at all? Is there anything you're doing outside of SOFI, which is not even in crypto anymore? So you're just like choosing to stay out of it. You're like, I don't care.
I own XRP because I think that I keep telling you and Chris to look at it. I sent you the thing about the Central Bank of Ireland. Like, I'm telling you, look into it. Okay?
Look. Okay, so you want me to look into XRP, which is this whole Ireland thing you want me to get into?
No, it's not.
But Steve, I am trying to get my money to be Dublin, okay? And I don't need to go to Ireland to understand how to get my money to start Dublin. But I do need a crypto. He does it again, folks. He somehow does it again. He finds a way.
Look at the banks that are partnered with Ripple. Look at the central banks that are starting to incorporate XRP. Look into the settlement times. Look into the utility. Just look into it, okay? It may not be the worst idea in the world to grab some. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Understood. I wish you appreciate the Dublin joke way more than trying to convince me on XRP. Nonetheless, okay, so you're not really
I like that comment, and I agree. For some reason, I don't think I'm going to be eating 60-cent cat food. I like that.
Okay, let's move on. So that was the Bitcoin stuff. Obviously, for those that are interested in the miners, let us know in the chat if you're playing it. Miners are mooning after hours. I don't know what the hell is happening. CleanSpark's closing on $14. It was already up 15% of the day, up another 3%. I think something's going on. Bitcoin's inching towards 44,000. Something tomorrow might happen where it either sells the hell off or we're just getting started, because the miners today and Coinbase, they operated at a different level of just volatility. And maybe, given it's happening in after hours, we see something happen tomorrow as well. Let's talk about Microsoft and OpenAI. I thought this was really, really interesting today. So the New York Times, the New York Times is suing Microsoft and OpenAI. TLDR, you can't take our fucking articles that we've made for hundreds of years to train your models.
So here's my question. And I am not a lawyer. Okay. I was actually going to call my lawyer to ask him what he thought about this. But my question is, are they talking about articles that are behind a paywall or articles that are just on the web? Because I would
articles on the web in general. articles on the web.
So then it's fair game, is it not? I mean, look,
No.
I don't know. I'd have to look at it. But if you have a published article on the web, why can't you use that for a training model?
Well, no, I mean, think of it like this, right? Like if I write an article and that article is monetized via ads, and then you take that article, you strip it of the ads, and then you use it to train your model, and then you get a subscription from a consumer to pay for the content of me that's in your model. That's not fair.
Let me ask you like this. If your article is on www.amit.com, okay, and there's no paywall, it is just there, but not behind a paywall. Anybody can go to that site and read the article for free.
Correct.
Whether you get monetized or not from people clicking on whatever ads are in the background, if that literature is just there, why can't Microsoft just go to the website? And
so this is the point of the lawsuit. The point of the lawsuit is that search engines have become a gateway portal for discovery and distribution of content. So, for example, the reason Grok, Elon's ChatGPT clone, can get away with not paying users for their tweets is because our tweets get distribution, and then Grok has proprietary, essentially governance over those tweets because it's on Twitter's private servers. But ChatGPT is stealing stuff from the open web. They don't have permission for that. Google can index the web because it gives you discovery and distribution. ChatGPT is literally training a model that gives zero reference, zero citations to, how to cook a chocolate cake, even though they used the New York Times article on training their model to better understand how to give out results to that query. I think that NY Times is a hell of a point here.
I'm actually texting my lawyer right now. And for the person in the chat, I have 3 very good friends that are lawyers. So when I say my lawyer, it's one of my 3 very good friends.
Yeah. So you're getting free consulting basically from your lawyer. That's good to have a lawyer friend.
All the time.
No, I really do think that this is a pivotal moment because it is not fair for big tech to steal people's content. It's just not.
And I don't know if this is classified as suing because it's not behind a paywall. So
I don't think that's
what I'm not clear on.
If you're not giving discovery or distribution, because ultimately you're taking the content that the New York Times paid a journalist to create to train your models for a consumer subscription or monetize it
on the web and you can view it. That if you don't need a New York Times subscription to read it, that's my thing. If you did, then I would agree.
Steve, you're not looking at the economics. A journalist,
I understand.
The New York Times pays a journalist $1,000.
I think it's fair game.
The New York Times is the parent company. They pay a journalist $1,000. Journalist makes an article. The article is supposed to make them $2,000 from ads. If I pay the journalist $1,000 and let's say there's no traffic anymore because LLMs take over, why did I pay that journalist $1,000 if no one reads the article via the way I monetize to make back the $2,000? Because ChatGPT is indexing all of it. That's not fair at the end of the day. How do you justify paying? How do you
justify it? Because you paid them for content that you put in a newspaper and on your site to sell to your audience.
Let's say your audience. No, but that's the New York Times' argument is that our audience won't pay for this or care about reading it if they can get the answers from ChatGPT.
Okay, but you're not.
Remember, the models are useless without the data.
You're not going to pay for the New York Times a week from now for something they wrote a week ago. Unless you're
literally paying for the repository of content they have. I mean, they have articles going back to 1800s. I mean, people read shit all the time. I don't think that's the best argument.
But I'm not going to go buy the New York Times in 3 days from now, today's version.
It doesn't matter. The point is, if those articles are
having a subscription model is different because you do have the repository of as you said, of all the articles. Maybe you don't have time to read everything and you go back. But what I'm saying is, I just don't know if it's not fair.
Let me put it this way. You are a Seeking Alpha author. You do very well in Seeking Alpha. If someone took all your content and Seeking Alpha say, "Hey,
so hold on, it's not my content."
Okay, so you're the journalist here. You're the free agent.
It's not my content. Seeking Alpha's content.
Okay, so how do you think Seeking Alpha feels if Bard is
not my problem?
That is your problem because you're going to be out of a job if Seeking Alpha is like, "Hey, we can't pay you anymore, Steve."
It's not my problem.
Absolutely is your problem.
It's not my problem. It's not my content.
But the point is, you get paid for that content from a parent company. If that parent company can't justify the cost because no one's subscribing to fucking Seeking Alpha because they're getting all the information from ChatGPT, that's not fair. That's not fair at all.
In order to train on that content, the content has to be produced. If the content is not produced, it will not be able to train on that content. And I would argue that it's going to take a while for the content to end up on a second and third site. So It's a first to market type thing.
No, I think you're so dead wrong on this.
I could be 100% wrong. I don't know. I could be.
Yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, forget the New York Times. They have an army of lawyers, but independent media companies across the world are going to start realizing, like, you can't just take our shit at the end of the day. Because if you take our content and we don't have a gateway, I think big tech's going to start having to pay for content. I think they're going to start have to pay. Like, they signed a deal with The Athletic and Axios. We saw that last week, in Politico, because ChatGPT and Microsoft realized, hey, we need real-time political updates. That's going to be important. I think they're going to start paying for content. Now, YouTube never has to pay for content because YouTube's connected to Bard. Same thing with Twitter, right? So Bard can use all the transcripts from YouTube to feed their LLM because we willingly post it on YouTube, and they don't have an obligation. But New York Times, that's paying a journalist that needs to make payroll, they have a little bit of a different obligation.
I understand New York Times is great by any means. I understand their point. I just don't know if it's fair game or not. It's not my space. I don't know.
Okay, that's fair.
And it's not plagiarizing. It's information that's on the web. I mean, if you ask Google Bard or ChatGPT a question and they show where they're sourcing stuff from, I don't know if that's plagiarism or not. I don't know.
I don't think it's plagiarism when they show the source, but if they take the content and there's no money that can be made off of it, then it gets really tough, I think.
Yeah, I don't know what they're really doing with it. I don't know.
Okay, let's transition to this. Thank you, 325 people, for being here. Let's go to some.
Hold on. I want to ask you a question.
Okay, what's your question?
So when I text you, I was half asleep. So I was waking up and I was thinking I should buy more Google and Meta, even though
I was going to talk about this. All right, let's talk about it. Go ahead.
So, and I'm thinking about it from a different perspective. Do you think that they're going to have an outstanding year in selling ads because we're going into an election cycle?
Yes.
And it's a duopoly, and there's going to be so much money pumped into this election cycle because in every election cycle, each side wants to win more than the other. But there's just so much more of an emphasis, especially if it's a Trump-Biden rematch, which I don't necessarily think is going to happen. But if it is,
it's happening. It's happening, Trump-Biden.
How much money do we think is going to be spent on this? And where else are you really going to advertise other than Google and Meta?
Okay, so this is a great topic. Let me know what you guys think in the chat as well. Before we get into that, who are you voting for, Trump or Biden?
No comment.
I just want to see if you take the bait. I just want to see.
No. But here's the real question. Am I going to get off my ass and go vote? Probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know if I will either, to be honest. Now, let me tell you something. If Wendy Rose was at the ballot box and she was counting the ballots, I'd show my ass up there. I'd be first in line. Okay, let's give my ballot to Wendy Rhodes.
You can write her in as a candidate.
Trying to get into her box. Anyway, all right. So, so look, my greatest regret in my life is that I did not buy Meta at $90. I have been so bullish on Meta purely for the reason you mentioned. It is the only place in the world where anyone can buy an ad for like pennies. Like on Google, even a search ad is more complicated than Meta. You just throw up a picture, target some people, boom, you're ready to go. So the fact that it's a 900 billion now, same thing with Bitcoin, it's really hard for me to justify buying it, even though I think it, could hit 450, 500 next year. They did $34 billion off Instagram ads last quarter. Google did $44 billion off search ads. This isn't going anywhere. This is absolutely good. And the political, and it's not just Trump and Biden. It's the Republican primary as well. Vivek, Ted Cruz, all these guys are going to
go
go
to my screen for 1 sec.
So
I called the bottom. Okay.
When did
I
you call
published this at 94.33. It's up 279% since then.
Oh, this is when did you publish this? Oh, wow, November 2022. Yeah, this is a great article. This is a great buy. I mean, look, it made a lot of sense. What do you think? I think the election advertising cycle is going to be massive for Google and Meta, and I think it's going to propel earnings along with AI.
Here we go. Let me just read this real quick. I don't know if I should read it on the show or not. Basically, my buddy says he would imagine that it has merit. I'm not going to read anything else that he put in there.
My argument has merit is what he's saying.
Yeah, the New York Times suing them probably has merit, is what he's saying. And he did say that the Times generally uses the best lawyers. So We'll see.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be hard for ChatGPT to win that, but
We'll see. Like I said, I don't know anything about it, but I'm not going to say what type of law he practices, but if anybody's going to know, he would know. So
okay, so let's pose the question like this: would you buy Meta or Google next year if you had to pick one?
Matt, I'll come on with you. No problem. I like them both, Amit. And look, you got to remember something. My wife wants to murder me. So if I end up like go missing, she'll never do it, but she'll never let me live it down. And whatever my wife buys, we should all buy because she rarely misses. During the 2008 crash, she bought Ford at like $1.86 or $1.96 and then sold it at 17. And she bought, I remember very specifically because E-Trade got an allocation block. And we did not, and I had a friend at E-Trade at the time, and we did not sign up or ask him for any shares. I want to say Meta went public at 32 or 36. She ended up buying it at 1950. It was other 20s, like 19 or 1950. She ended up buying. I'm not going to say how many shares, but she wanted to add a 0 onto the shares. And I said, I don't know if that's a good idea or not. That would be amazing if she was. No, she doesn't study anything. This is not her thing. She just invests in what she thinks is going to make money.
What do you think she would buy this year, Meta or Google, if she had to pick, given everything that's going on?
She doesn't pay attention to any of this. Probably Meta because she uses Instagram a lot. Like that's how she invests.
That's what I think. Meta. Look, I like.
I'll tell you what she'll invest in. I don't know if I should text her right now.
I'm making that a poll in the chat.
If Kim Kardashian's company Skims goes public, I bet you she would invest in it.
I might invest in that shit.
I may invest in it too. Anything they touch turns to gold.
Dude, I mean, they've kept a reality TV show alive for almost 20 years. I mean, like, I don't know how you do that.
I don't know how anybody can say anything bad about them from a business standpoint. They're geniuses.
They make phenomenal videos.
It's amazing.
Like great videos since 200003. They've been making just
marketing geniuses.
Internet content. Incredible.
Yeah.
Okay.
Really
so
incredible.
Meta versus Google. I think Google's much more undervalued than Meta, breaking out 52-week highs. But I think Meta might kill it on the political ads way better because they have WhatsApp now that's starting to get monetized, which I think that's going to play a role in politics to an extent. Commercially, that's going to play a bigger role this year. It barely was on last year. Instagram's going to be on fire. Like, dude, I posted the top November app downloads. Facebook got 49 million downloads.
It was interesting.
Instagram got 50 million downloads. WhatsApp got 30. Like, I don't know how they're finding hundreds of millions of more people to download their shit, but they keep finding them.
Who, Meta?
Meta, yeah.
So here's the thing that I love about Meta that people seem to forget. More than 1/3 of the global population uses their products. Do you really want to bet against them? I don't.
And this is what I didn't realize when they were at $100. This is the thing I missed out on. I really didn't get it.
Like I kept saying that, like more than 1/3 of the population uses their products.
Do you know what was the 4th most downloaded app in the entire world on iOS this year?
What?
Threads.
Was it really? I don't even
Threads, dude. It was the app no one gives a shit about. Apparently, people give a shit about it. I'm thinking of starting to post more on Threads because, like, shit, like, you know, there's people there. So here's the thing. Here's the thing people don't think about. Threads isn't monetized yet. Imagine if like in June, right before Trump versus Biden really takes off, they're like, we're going to monetize Threads. Threads is all text-based content. It's like it's prime advertising space. If they turn that on for shareholders and they even put up, I don't know, 20-30 million bucks a quarter of additional top line revenue from Threads, which is, you know, barely working. I think that could be big for them as well.
So we're talking about Meta and Google. I am just pulling something.
But the valuation on Meta sucks compared to Google. That's the problem.
So we're going to look real quick. I just want to make sure that I have the right numbers.
I'm going to put in the chat right now a poll. Would you rather buy into 2024, Meta or Google? I think the obvious answer is Google just because of the share buybacks and the undervaluation from a PE perspective.
They're both buying back shares, though.
Yeah, but Meta started buying back shares at like 240. They wasted a lot of money buying back shares back then. My point is they're not doing as many buybacks as they were before. Google's, I think, just starting Not just starting, but they're getting more aggressive. If you look at their plans.
They're definitely getting aggressive.
Yeah.
I look, I'm a shareholder of both. I have more in Meta. I really like both companies. I think both companies are going to do well. I've been saying I think Alphabet is very undervalued for quite some time. I'm just updating the EPS numbers because I think they changed a bit. They really didn't change. Okay.
The Qs hit an all-time high as well. Do you see those continuing to inch? Because if Meta and Google inch higher, the Qs are going to inch higher as well, right?
I mean, you know how I feel about this, that I think we're going to be in a multi-year bull market. I can make an argument that the markets are overvalued, and I can make an argument that we're going to head into a multi-year bull cycle. And I personally
let's. So let me ask you one more question, then we'll go to that segment because this is a great segment.
I want to share the screen on the valuation.
Okay, share the screen. Then
I
want to ask you one more question after this, and then we'll go to
yeah. So let me make this bigger.
That's what she said.
All right. So they're very similar in current valuation on free cash flow. So Alphabet's just a little bit better valuation, but they're very similar at 24 and 22 times. And then from a forward EPS, they have very similar forward EPS growth. And they're both trading at roughly the same forward EPS valuation. So it's a toss-up. It really is. I mean, I think I would give the edge to Alphabet right now because of the additional buybacks, and I like their balance sheet better because of how much more cash they have on the balance sheet.
And you're not at all worried about search being commoditized in the next.
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm more worried about Alphabet getting in trouble for being a monopoly due to how big of an operating system Android is.
Right.
To be honest with you.
Right. Okay, so let me ask you this question about Facebook, and then we'll move on to bear and bull case for the current markets. I put out a tweet today. I said, people who think Meta is evil is because of teenage girls or blah, 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 are just virtue signaling.
Yeah, don't use it.
What is your argument to people that think Facebook is the most evil company in the world?
I think people are ridiculous. Look,
why?
Nobody's forcing anybody to invest in anything. So you don't have to invest in it. If you don't like what you think their values are, just don't invest in it. Whatever. I mean, I don't know what else to say on that. Just don't.
What about the argument that Facebook has created a culture in which teenage girls, when they use Instagram, they feel like, they can't be Kim Kardashian. They have all this bodily pressure to look like them. Do you think Instagram's responsible for that at the end of the day?
I don't know that I can say yes or no either way. It's not something I really look into. But how about back in the 80s? I think the same argument could be made about any type of ad or the Sports Illustrated swimsuit model issue that, these types of things about always wanting to look differently, especially for guys.
People would say it's hyper accentuated because of algorithms now.
It could be. I mean, how many people go on weight loss drugs, or how many guys get in the gym and use steroids because they want to look differently? It's not just women that have that's applicable to. It's also guys. I mean, how many guys go to the gym and shoot steroids? A ton. I mean, I think it's an overall problem in society. I don't know that Meta's responsible for it. I think it's always been there. Maybe it's bigger now because we live in a society where everything is right in your face all the time. So any problems that previously existed are probably amplified. But if any one company, this is what I'm going to say to that. If Meta was to shut down tomorrow, would the problem go away, or would another company come and pick up the pieces?
Yeah, no, I agree.
So I don't know. Are there problems with it? Absolutely, but I don't know.
Okay, cool. Let's do macro, bear case, bull case. So real quick thing for those that don't know, there was a second consecutive week of money market funds decreasing. Went from 11 billion 2 weeks ago, 16 billion last week.
Where did you get that information?
I'll share the picture, but if you go to icim.org.
Oh, okay. I was just wondering because I was looking at the St. Louis Fed and they didn't update it, but I know that I know what you're using. Okay.
Yeah. So now instead of 6 trillion, there's about 5.87 trillion. Not, it's still pretty up there, but we are.
Who said that people are going to start front running?
You did, Stephen.
Yeah.
You did indeed. You did indeed say that. So here's the question. Let's start with the bad news. Give me the ruthless bear case for why markets are ridiculously overvalued. Anyone buying the S&P is just stupid right now. And then we'll transition into the bull case. Go ahead.
I don't know that I can say anybody is stupid for buying the S&P, because my own personal thesis is I can't time the markets. I've never met somebody that can time the markets perfectly. And I think that buying the S&P on a continuous basis is one of the best things you can do for investing. That's just my own personal belief. So as long as you're buying every 2 weeks or every month, I fully believe in that. But my bear case would be that the Fed does not cut rates, that you have a situation where credit blows up, you have a ton of defaults on credit cards, you have foreclosures, cost of capital doesn't come down, you don't get business expansion, geopolitical tensions rise even further than they are now, and we get dragged into more conflicts, and other things happen that I just don't want to say. But I think there's real reason that nothing is 100%, and there are real things that everybody needs to be on the lookout for. And while it does look like we are going into a multi-year bull cycle, or at least a bull cycle for 2024, there's a lot of things that hinge on rates. And I know people will say, well, historically, we're around averages over a certain amount of period, this and that. Market's gone up previously in a rate environment that's 4 or 5%, which is true. The difference is there was not this level of debt that was scheduled to term in a rate environment that was so much higher that when the debt was taken out, which causes problems. And it will cause stress on the banking sector. If you get this type of environment and you have companies that hand back the keys on real estate assets, the banks are left with assets that they don't want to own, that they're not equipped to manage. They're going to fire sell them for pennies on the dollar to get them off the balance sheets. It's going to cause problems. And there's a real bear case to be made. I mean, if you look at credit and you look at how much people are borrowing and you start looking at statistics about how people are equipped to deal with emergencies, and then some of the stats that I've been hearing on some of the stuff I listen to on YouTube and some of the stuff that I read on CNBC.com and Bloomberg.com is actually pretty scary with how much people are spending without having the savings to back it up. And we are continuously in a perpetual spiral of just consumption. And it is actually scary. So I think that if credit blows up or you start getting a lot of defaults, there's going to be a massive problem.
Okay, so your argument is a credit tightening event could happen. The consumer, this whole buy now, pay later, all this stuff that's going on.
I don't like buy now, pay later for any stretch of the reason. I mean, if you need to use buy now, pay later, that's a problem.
Isn't it kind of just like layaway though?
So here's the thing. Let's say it's at 0%. I know nothing about it. I probably should look into it, but I don't. Let's say somebody's going to give you a 0% loan. Obviously, the smart money is to take a 0% loan because you can make more money on your money, even if you just put it in a CD and build a CD ladder. Forget the stock market because the markets can fluctuate. But how many people are actually going to do that? And I'm not saying that people don't have the money to pay back the buy now, pay later, but it sets you up to possibly spend more and easily overextend. Because, and this is an argument, I unfollowed somebody on Twitter because I'm sick of seeing their things come up where they bash credit cards. And I'm going to go back to this. Credit cards are not the root of all evil. People are the root of all evil. It is foolish to use a debit card over a credit card for the sheer factor of fraud protection. There is literally no fraud protection on a debit card and it is linked to your bank account. Using a credit card, there is so much fraud protection. I don't want to get into all of it because I'm not a lawyer, but I mean, if you look at the differences on protections between the two, you would never want to use a debit card for an online purchase ever again if you do. The other thing is, if you're paying your credit card off in full every month, you're getting a free loan and you're getting money back. So not using a credit card, you're leaving money on the table. So while I respect the hell out of everything that Dave Ramsey has done for getting people out of debt, because I think it's absolutely amazing, this whole notion that people have started and then so many people regurgitate about not using credit cards and credit cards are the root of all evil is ridiculous. It's crazy. But we're in a society where everybody's trying to keep up with the Joneses, and there's a serious problem with spending, and buy now, pay later may help people overextend.
Right.
And I don't know if it's necessarily good. And that's something that I would be very worried about.
Okay. So that is the bear case for why the economy can collapse. What is the, I guess, bull case, not just for stocks, but why the economy is resilient enough to allow the market to continue to thrive? If you had to pick maybe, as you sip on your Mexican cocaine, if you had to pick 2 or 3.
My wife does not like Mexican Coke. I love it because of pure cane sugar. This is just regular Coke.
So there's no cocaine in there.
Dude, the Mexican Coca-Cola with the pure cane sugar is heaven. Is heaven.
I asked on Twitter today, what's the best way to resolve? I asked Twitter, what's the best way to resolve a sickness today? And like 100 people voted for below. They said that'll get the job done.
Yeah, they're 100% wrong.
How do you know for sure? How do you know for sure they're 100% wrong?
Do you take vitamins, sir?
You said that really firmly. They're 100% wrong. I feel like you had some experience with it.
Do you take vitamins?
Potentially. No, I don't.
Do you get enough sleep?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm stressing. I'm always up thinking late at night about, girls.
You need to get
One
a
girl,
minimum
maybe.
of 6 hours, preferably 7 or 8.
That's what my mom said.
And you should probably go on a multivitamin and probably stack some C and some other things. So
you're saying below doesn't get the job done.
I'm just saying that everything is from your diet, and you should probably look at how you eat also.
But not what I sniff is what you're saying.
I know nothing about that.
Okay, what's the bull case for why the economy won't collapse next year?
Oh, the bull case is that Big Daddy Jerome Powell just saved the market. I mean, look, if they do come through, and I don't know that I agree with pricing in 175 bips of cuts, but I mean, if you get 75 bips of cuts over 3 25 bip decreases, the cost of capital comes down. Okay. When the cost of capital comes down, businesses are more likely to borrow and expand and hire. There is a chance you get unemployment to continue to drop. There's a chance of wage growth increases. From expansion, whether it is if you take more office space or you take more real estate space, you're going to need to build it out. You're going to need to buy tech equipment, hire people to build it out. You're going to need supplies. Every type of trade is going to be used. Every type of product is going to need to be bought. You have consumers that have probably put off big purchases, whether it's appliances for the houses, solar, IT equipment, TVs, cars, anything like that. You start getting rates to drop. Financing rates become more preferable. You could see a resurgence in spending, even though spending is still big. And all that money is going to flow up to the top, which should increase earnings per share from the big companies that have brought the market up in 2023.
Correct.
Then you have people starting to front run the market.
And this is what I think we're seeing right now. This end of year momentum, it's front running, right?
You get to a point where the risk-free rate of return is probably teetering around that 4%.
Right.
And go under 4%.
Right.
Like when you see 4% on risk-free, something in my mind, at least, I'm not going to make a generalization, but something in my mind flips. Okay.
Why?
Something with a 3 just does not look as enticing as something with a 4 in front of it, risk-free.
No, I agree. I have the same logic around age. Like 27 feels much older than 26. Even though I know it's literally older, but there's something about 27 that feels like you're closer to 30, even though I know it's literally closer to 30, but you get my point, right? But 28,
I get the point.
28 feels younger than 27.
Yeah, I get the point. And
just trying to make sure.
There's just something about it. And when that risk-free rate of return starts to come down, anybody who is serious about locking in yield did a CD ladder or a treasury ladder. or they just straight up bought a 10-year bond. Okay. Forget the money that's going to be terming in the ladders that are set up. And look, I'm somebody who has a CD ladder. Okay. Money sitting in money market accounts is straight liquid that can be moved on a moment's notice. They're not necessarily serious about locking in yield. They're more using a money market as a proxy to generate yield in the short term. The other thing is when you look at the institutional versus retail on the money markets, it's on the St. Louis Fed site. I don't want to bring it up because it'll take me a minute to find it. But when I looked at it when it was about 5.7 in money markets, I think it was something like 3.5 or 3.6 trillion was institutional.
Right. Right.
Institutional holders are not getting paid their fees, whether it's a hedge fund at 2 and 10 or 2 and 20, or even a mutual fund or an ETF that has cash on the sidelines that you're paying a management fee for.
Wait, hold on. They don't get paid a fee if they're put your money in money markets?
Yeah, you're still getting paid. You're still paying.
Oh, you're still getting paid. You're still getting, okay.
Yeah. So my thing is, there was a lot easier of a conversation to have or a methodology when we're going to take the 5% and hang out on the sidelines.
Right.
When you get 3% in a money market, it becomes a much different conversation. And people are not going to be as lenient with that. And you're going to see institutions start to move capital back into the markets.
And you think a lot of clients will also call up their fund managers and be like, hey, I'm not paying you for 3%, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been somebody who I have friends that have jobs where they can't invest in stocks. So they have a money manager do everything. And what I tell them is I said, listen, and I get it, but if a money manager is investing in ETFs, to me, that's a problem because you're paying Vanguard the fee, and then you're also paying the money manager the fee on assets.
So that 5% goes to like 3%.
Investing in equities and they're beating the market, they're worth their weight in gold.
Right.
But why are you paying a money manager to just invest in ETFs? It doesn't make sense.
So the people that manage your billions, they don't have any inside of the money markets, correct?
Dude, if I had billions, I'd be freaking a ghost.
You'd still be on the pod. You'd do the pod.
No, I'd be a ghost, dude.
You'd just be watching TV all day.
Ghost.
Love to do anyway. Okay, so they're trying to front run the market. Now, here's my question. 87% on the CME watch tool is pricing in a March cut now, right? Or I think it's some ridiculous number, above 70%. Do
Is
you
it
in your
above 70 now?
I think it's like 67, 70.
I'm going
First
right
of all,
now. Hold on. Let's get my live reaction to this.
The
Because
market
I've been
also
paying attention to this.
we're going to talk about Celsius as well. Chris said he bought Celsius. I want to get your thoughts on that. But the market's also pricing in 6 cuts next year, which I think
Jesus Christ.
What is it? 70?
72.7% cut.
Dog. By
And
March?
they're at 15% for 475 bips. Wow.
6 cuts, March cut. So here's my question. Do you think the market's getting way too excited?
Yes.
And front running from that?
Yes.
Why? Because you just told me the bull case. Why is the market getting too excited?
Because Powell never said when they're cutting. So here's something. Everybody has got this wrong. And you know that I've been saying this all year. When other people were saying, we're going to get a cut, we're going to get a cut. I'm not going to say, admit, what did I say throughout 2023?
You said we're not getting a cut. And you were right. You said it's not happening this year.
I said there's no way it's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Powell did not come on. He was more dovish than I thought he was going to be. He did not say that we're getting 6 cuts. He did not say we're going to 4% or 3.5%. He said that the individual assessment that all the Fed members took had a median of 475. Maybe they cut more aggressively, but if that occurs, that would probably mean that we are either in a recession or just coming out of recession. And I don't think that a recession is on the table for this year unless unemployment numbers come out that makes the November number look like an anomaly when it went from 3.9 to 3.7%. Like we go into a recession statistically since 1948 when unemployment rises a percentage point. We're not there yet. And the past month's readings took that off the table if that becomes the new standard.
So what if we don't cut in in March, you think the market pulls back? Like, you think the market? I mean, because
I don't know. I
that's a
don't
big
know
expectation
that.
right now.
I think if you don't get a cut by June, I think the markets would probably pull back. I think March is a little too soon because
I
they
agree.
never gave a timeline. So I think that people could still be bullish if a cut doesn't happen in March.
Yeah. Now, granted, if inflation actually does fall off a cliff, which I think is going to be harder for that to happen by March, then yeah, we could get a 25 bips cut, but it's going to be hard for that to happen. It's
Yeah,
gonna be pretty
I
hard.
don't know. And
Real quick, let me give two shout outs to. Go ahead.
Remember, he left the door open that if the data shows it, they're going to raise 25 bips.
They're not going to raise. I mean, he had to say that, but
I'm not saying that he's going to, but he has left the door open for that, even though that they've held. But if you don't think that the Fed would raise if they felt they needed to before they start cutting, you haven't been watching what they've been doing.
No, that's fair. That is fair. William, thank you for the $49.99 super chat. Let's keep it going. Give baby Carlos a Tesla stock. Congrats, Carlos. Thank you so much for that, William. That is super awesome. That 50 is going to go straight to Carlos, and hopefully he can buy a little bit more diapers, even though he's got enough money to buy diapers, but with a baby, you never have enough diapers. Ren, thank you for another $50 super chat. Means a lot. And Troy, thank you for the $2 super chat. Rock, paper, scissors, Amit versus Steve for who gets it. What would you pick, Steve?
What is this person saying? If you didn't profit today, I can't listen to you. Like what
Someone put that in the chat. Digital Blade. If you didn't profit today, I can't listen to you. I think they're saying this is a top, and you got to take profits. I think that's what they're saying. Yeah, that's what they're saying. Nasdaq. So let's address this argument.
The market has.
Go ahead. Here's the question: Is it irrational to not take some profits right now and basically be a sucker? Is what he's saying.
No. All right. So let's phrase it like this: nobody ever got hurt taking a profit. Okay. You can't get hurt. I don't care if you miss out on future gains. You can't get hurt taking a profit because that means you did not lose money. Okay. But at the same time, I've never met anybody that can time the markets. So you can have a general idea of what's going on in the economy or whatnot, but it's pretty hard, really hard to time the markets. There's a handful of people that have been able to do it. And investing is a long-term game. And I'm not talking about trading or anything like that. Investing is a long-term game. That's why it's called investing. And on a historical lever, we're back to all-time highs. But what does that mean that we're at all-time highs? It means we got back to where we were 2 years ago. And that the markets went like that. We're back to where they were, which means eventually we're going to make new all-time highs. Whether we go down again before that happens, I don't know. But that's why I stay invested.
Yeah, I think this idea that you've got to, first of all, I've taken some profits over the past months, and I could have had a lot more money if I didn't take profits.
But you're taking profits on individual positions. You're not taking
right, not selling at right.
Two completely different things. I'm talking about index funds or the market in general, not individual positions.
Or your highest conviction stocks, right? Like, yeah, I mean, look, I've taken some profits over the past month because I just needed some profits. I wanted to do some stuff with the money. But anyone who's like, I don't think this is November 2021 where it's an obvious top you've got to set, because so much has happened since then. And the idea that this is some dramatic top, even if we see a 10, 20% pullback, which is very likely, I don't think trying to time it makes sense, or trying to feel bad about this is the top and you've got to, recover from what happened 2 years ago.
I'm going to go back to the previous question and tie it back to this. The other reason why I think that we are going into a bull market cycle and why I think the market's going to do well this year is because as the risk-free rate of return declines, I think you're going to have money moving into the capital markets to recreate that yield and do a catch-up trade because a lot of money missed out on this rally. I think you're going to see more money move into index funds, more money move into the Qs, which indirectly becomes good for big tech and the largest companies because they're the biggest components of those indexes. And then you're going to have money go into individual dividend stocks, probably would have focused on dividend aristocrats and dividend kings, but also high yield sectors such as REITs and MLPs. And that a broad market rally, bless you, will help bring the market up because this rally has been fueled by big tech. And I think there's going to be a lot of sectors that do well next year.
Well, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. This rally has been from big tech. Other sectors like regional, small caps, they have yet to really rally.
They're just getting back. They're
If you
just
take away
doing that.
the top 7 companies, we're at a 15, 16 PE on the S&P, which is very normal. It's
Yeah.
not overvalued per se.
And I don't know that saying a 19 or a 20 PE is too rich anymore. This is a different age of investing. And what people need to remember is the fact that back in the 90s, back in the early 2000s, there were no smartphones. Okay. People
Right.
did not have access to invest. I remember when buying stock cost $34.95 to make a trade. Okay. You did not have people buying stock. People did not have the access that we have today.
Retail liquidity has entered the markets. That's a big deal.
But it's not just that. Even people putting money in institutional money, than institutional money flowing in, you have more people participating in 401ks and 403bs because we've moved away from a pension system. And the largest components of those, I would say, are probably target date funds and index funds. So there is more money.
There's not an
moving into the
obvious
market.
top to this current rally we're seeing right now to you. Like, you don't think 475, which is below the all-time high, is this massive top that we have to be afraid of?
I mean,
obviously you can't time it. I get it, but
I can't time it. But if you ask me on a year or 2 year basis going forward, I think we go higher. But that doesn't mean that we can't go lower also. It's all cycles. But if you look at a historical chart on the S&P, eventually things go up. Eventually companies get stronger. And when you look at these individual companies and you look at the earnings growth for the big 7, the earnings growth is there, which should bring the market up. I mean, I can't time it, but I'm still buying, you know, I'll still buy. I mean, I'm one of those people that I'm buying every 2 weeks and every month I'm buying.
I want to bring up this topic. First of all, I just went to Steve's Twitter. Steve now has 3,000 followers. So congrats to you, Steve, on that. That is absolutely incredible. I'm putting his Twitter in the chat for those that want to check it out. But we both got tagged in a post by our good friend, KRIS, not Chris Patel, the other Chris. And
data driven,
our guy. And I think we should talk about this one a little bit because this is an important one. Real quick, so let me just read it. He said,
"Is this the one that I responded to?"
This is the one you responded to. I want to get your reaction to this.
I don't know if we should talk about without him here.
We do it all the time. He responds to us in the comments. He'll respond to us on Twitter.
I would rather him be here to have the conversation with him.
Okay, first of all, he has 6 kids, so he's not going to be able to. Trust me, he loves when we talk. No, I've personally talked. He loves when we talk about his shit. Like, he watches the pod. He's a big fan. He enjoys this stuff. So let's just discuss Apple in general, but let's use this tweet as a springboard. He bought Apple puts June 29th, sold them September, October for a 75% gain.
Phenomenal trade.
Great trade. He said, yes, they buy back $20 billion a quarter. The company's worth $3 trillion. They buy back 2.6% of the stock every year. They need mid-teens growth. Right now, they're like negative, in my opinion, to at least very justify the multiple, 31 PE. No position right now. If Apple doesn't crush it with the Vision Pro, I think they're in trouble. What are your thoughts to what he says about Apple?
So let's break it down. Those are his opinions. He could be right. He could be wrong. I'm giving my opinions. I could be right. I could be wrong. Yes. I would say that
you don't need to be so worried, Steve. It's okay.
Like, I am probably more right on
that much, bro. It's just like he has a thick skin. It's good.
No, I get it, but I don't. I would rather have a constructive conversation when the person's here because I'm not a bitch.
Oh, so you want Satya Nadella to be on the pod when we talk about Microsoft?
Yeah, that's fine. Like I'm not. That's the thing. I'm not hiding from anybody. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not talking shit.
You know, trust us. He'll respond. When he comes to.
I'm happy to have a conversation about it. You know, you look at how about looking at other companies that historically trade high. A 30p may not be that crazy in this day and age anymore.
There is negative growth for that 30p.
Yeah. But there has been negative growth in 3 other periods in the past decade on a year-over-year basis for Apple. Apple generated, what was it, 99 billion in net income, 96 billion in net income, 95 billion in net income the past 3 years. They are the most profitable company in the market. That's 1. 2, they are an innovation machine with a cult-like following. They come out with a new product, the chances of success is higher to be likely than not likely. Okay? from their computers to their smartphones to their watches to services, which is approaching 100 billion revenue. Probably get there in 2025. Apple has bought back, what is it, like $650 billion worth of shares?
Yeah, but why does that matter if they're not growing anymore? This whole
Okay.
buyback argument's kind of, like they're not growing.
Admit,
it's like artificial growth.
You have a company that's got 100 shares. You own 10 shares. What percentage?
I know how a buyback works. Okay. I get it. But like at the end of the day, his point is they're not growing.
Every buyback that they do decreases the share count, increases.
Okay, you are insulting my intelligence because I know how buybacks work.
And
it's
the
very
earnings
simple.
per share that your shares represent.
But it's all fake.
Artifact. It's not fake.
It is fake.
Real numbers.
There's no growth. They're just like
the top line growth has nothing to do with buybacks. And I agree with you. Their growth went down. There's no question about that. But buybacks artificially, and just because it's artificial doesn't mean it's fake. They artificially manufacture earnings because they are buying back so many shares. They don't need necessarily top line growth every year to grow EPS because they're buying back more than $1.5 billion worth of shares every week. So their EPS can continue to grow. You have a huge opportunity in India, which is the second largest population for Apple. Over the next couple of years, when their headset...
Indians don't really like iPhones as much as you think they do.
Let's see what the opportunity becomes. It could be...
The majority of people are stuck on Google and Android.
We don't know what the opportunity is actually going to materialize into, but it very well could be huge.
Well, just real quick, if the Vision Pro isn't the thing that everyone is using every single day, where is the growth coming from? Because it's not
AirPods. Vision Pro is a flop. Then
I don't think it's a flop, but it's not selling iPad type of numbers. Like everyone in the world can use the iPad. I'm not putting on some stupid headset every like. It's
you
just
say that now.
I'm not doing it, Steve. You're not doing it either. Every day,
dude.
You're gonna watch Billions in the metaverse. Like I don't think that's happening, dude.
So I bought an Oculus Rift when it came out.
How many times do you use it?
Not much. 20.
That's my point.
There's a reason. It doesn't do what I want it to do. I bought it because I wanted to play with it. I thought it was a cool concept and whatnot. And I know that it has probably become much better with the newer versions. Okay. But I truly thought that I was going to be able to play certain video games with it. And I really thought I was going to be able to figure out a way to watch specific sports with it. I think that there's going to be a huge opportunity in sports and video games with the headset in the future, in the next couple of years. I think that every stadium...
But that's not the whole world, Steve. The whole world uses an iPad for different things. Sports and video games is one niche. And Meta is already dominating, by the way.
I get that. But once again, Apple is... My vision is that Apple is going to acquire sport teams and media content. And they're going to build an ecosystem that is proprietary to the Apple Vision that is not cross-compatible with Meta's Rift or Oculus or whatever the new thing is. And that's how they're going to get people sticky in the ecosystem. And when you think about how big soccer is, and when you think about how big the NFL or the NBA is...
Your bull case is sports. That's your bull. Like, I don't see it, dude.
Sports and video games is so...
Who's paying $3,500 for this? Like, no one's doing that, dude. Like,
developers. It's not... $3,500 is not the...
No, but it doesn't matter. Even if you say the price is coming down for the next 5 quarters...
It needs to get to $800.
Okay, that's not happening in 5 quarters. That's not happening in a year.
No, and I never said it was.
So isn't his point that the company's massively overvalued?
It's going to take a couple of years for it to materialize. It needs to get sub $1,000. It needs
Which is
to
not
get
happening for a while.
No, probably 3 years.
So then why is the 30 PE justified right now?
What's Microsoft's?
Microsoft's growing.
But what
they own ChatGPT? That's like a thriving enterprise. That's amazing.
They're less profitable.
Apple's Siri still can't fucking book an alarm for me. Like,
they're less profitable.
Okay. Those margins are going to get higher with AI and Copilot.
You're paying for a company that is the most profitable company in the market that has a very good track record of innovating. They are buying back a ton of shares. They're paying you a very small dividend.
I don't think they can buy back shares forever, Steve. At some point, you got to show growth. Apple's not growing.
Let's look at their growth. Let's actually look at their growth.
Look at their growth. They're not. Services is
growing. We're going to look at their growth
and they can't keep selling Apple Music and Apple Health forever. I mean, the damn watch is getting banned because they can't even put an oximeter on it when we talk about health. So like,
yeah, that was pretty funny, wasn't it?
that was hilarious. Do you have an Apple Watch? Do you use it at all?
I do have one.
But you don't use it. Oh, so you're going to use the Vision. You can't even wear an Apple Watch, but you're going to use the Vision Pro every day. That's what you're telling us right now.
So my wife never lets me live it down that I have an Apple Watch and I don't wear it.
But yeah, because it's not useful because you have the time on your phone.
I wear a different watch. But
the Patek Philippe?
Yeah, no comment.
Richard Mille?
So I do like the Apple Watch for one reason. When I read about the sleep app on here, I charged it and I wore it for a solid week because I wanted to see how bad my sleep was. And it really made me change a few things. And I totally feel better now. I like the Apple Watch. But let's talk about their growth. So 2014 to 2015, huge top line growth. They decreased year over year in 2016 by about 17 billion. Then they increased in 2017, pretty big increase in 2018, 5 billion decrease in 2019, then 15 bill increase in 2020, and then 2021 huge increase. Then another increase in 2023. And this year, with Apple's quarter ends in September, so that with their latest one, a little bit of a decrease, but $383 billion.
In what? In revenue?
Revenue.
And it's not growing.
Huge revenue.
But it's not growing.
Eventually, they'll be at 400.
But it's not going to be growth.
They don't need it to grow every year to be hugely profitable. Look at these freaking profits.
I'm not complaining, but I'm complaining about the PE. The profitability, the EPS, you got it. You're right. The PE is Chris's point, is kind of ridiculous. Like Nvidia's growing. They've got a reasonable PE. Microsoft,
Nvidia's a stud. It's amazing. But okay, but people are willing to pay for Tesla's PE?
Well, Tesla's growing.
Well, Tesla's growing, but the valuation.
Also, the bot has way more potential than an AirPods 3. Okay,
so much more potential. I'm buying a bot the day it comes out. I don't really care if the things are true about it.
We got to talk Tesla. We didn't even get to talk Tesla again. Okay, go ahead, make your point.
Yeah, I'm a shareholder.
Can we get let's kill the Apple conversation. We got your point. They're going to buy back shares. Let's do Tesla. How many shares do you actually own now of Tesla? Because I'll tell you mine. I own 5 good old shares. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Can you confirm or deny that you have more shares than me?
I already told you I have more shares than you.
Okay, but like 6 or 600?
I told you I have more shares than you.
Okay. Did you buy Tesla with your money or with the options premium from your covered calls?
No, technically the option money is my money.
Okay, so you didn't actually buy Tesla. You bought it with the market's money, regardless.
Listen, I told you what my plan was. I hate the valuation on Tesla. I think that Tesla can go down in 2024. I think they can go up because if you have the interest rates come down, I think that there's a huge catalyst on the horizon. But I also think that they could go down significantly because I would be super pissed off if I owned a Tesla with them continuously slashing the prices, making my resale value significantly less. I mean, their margins are not expanding, they're declining. There's some issues, but I am a shareholder because I truly believe that the bot completely changed my mind. I think the bot could become a bigger business than the car business in the next 10, 20 years. The bot could completely change a lot of things. And
so again, for you, you haven't changed your mind. It's just the bot. There is no Cybertruck, nothing for you. It's just the bot. That's it.
The Cybertruck may be an amazing thing. It could be huge. I'm not going to say it's not going to be. Everything that Musk does kind of works out with Tesla. So the Cybertruck could be huge. We got to see what the numbers are.
Do you agree with Chris that it can get back to 150? Do you agree with Chris that we could see 150 on Tesla next year?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Okay, so
I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla goes to 450, and I wouldn't be surprised if it goes to 150. Tesla is one of the only stocks that can defy all logic.
Okay, let's. Gordon Johnson just did a clip. Let's listen to him for a couple minutes with Ross Gerber, and I want to get your raw reaction. I want to see what you agree or disagree with what he has to say here about Tesla.
Ultimately dominate
Pause.
EV.
The fact that you have Toyota and Volkswagen on the screen, let me sum up his argument. There's nothing really different about Tesla and these car companies. Toyota's the biggest car company. Volkswagen's the most profitable, blah, 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 blah. Pretty accurate?
I mean, we'll see. I haven't watched it, but it just came out. Let's see what he has to say, but probably.
Okay. Let's take it to our panel tonight. We're joined by Gerber Kawasaki President and CEO Ross Gerber and GLJ Research CEO and founder Gordon Johnson. I actually think, guys, that you don't agree on much, but I have a feeling that you should, I think, Ross, agree with Gordon on this, that BYD, whatever you may think of them in their Dolphin or Yuan Plus cars, is a threat if they come here.
Well, I don't look at it as a threat per se. I think BYD is an enormously successful company and probably one of the best companies in China across the board. But it doesn't make it a threat to Tesla in that 90% or more of the people still are buying gas cars. I think the biggest threat that BYD and Tesla face is to the Fords, BMWs, the Volkswagens of the world. So I look at them as very complementary companies. They're very similar in a lot of ways, and they're both excellent companies.
Gordon, would you agree?
No, I disagree. Look, BYD
I was wrong again.
BYD is cutting prices significantly in China. Look, in last quarter, third quarter, where Tesla's sales were actually down sequentially. I'm gonna look at my notes here. Their market share in China fell nearly 220 basis points from 2Q to 3Q. And from peak in China, when their market share was 27% in 1Q of 20, it's down to 8.6%. Their market share has collapsed. But here's why. Let's focus specifically on why Tesla's market share is falling. If you look at Consumer Reports, what car, JD Power, they rank Tesla last or near last in quality. Edmunds ranks Tesla as the only
Is that what
company
people in China read? Do people in China read this?
Of course, but hear me out. Edmunds ranks Tesla as the only company whose EPA stated range, its actual real world range for every single car is lower than its EPA stated range. So you're not getting the range. And then just the other day, there was a study that came out from LendingTree that stated Tesla's cars are the least safest out of all 30 cars
they're
they
about
tested.
to have a record in China.
23.54 accidents per 1,000
This is
cars.
Tesla's
So the
best
point is
quarter
this.
ever in China.
Yeah. The point is this. Tesla's cars are unreliable, unsafe, and don't have the mileage. We've been saying this for a long time. And what's happening is the consumer, right? The consumer is moving away from Tesla. One last point. Just today, we found out that Tesla had a number of axle failures, right? Suspension failures they knew about, right?
But Gordon, I got it. We're going a little bit off the rails here, Gordon. I just want to say that's what you said is true, but GM just stopped selling its Blazer EV. Toyota had a massive recall because of further airbag issues. Every car company has recalls, or don't come at me, Teslarians, or over-the-air software updates, whatever you want to call them. Every car, Gordon, has a problem. Everybody.
Well,
Sally,
you got to take a step
Let it
back.
finish. We got 2 more minutes.
Overall point, which is this is not stopping people from buying Teslas as they have a record.
Okay, hold on, Ross. Right? Let Gordon respond to my pseudo rant, and then you can.
I want to address that head on. Other companies do recalls. Tesla did not do a recall. There was a whistleblower who was an employee at Tesla who basically turned over a bunch of information to Handelsblatt, who now Reuters now has that data, that basically stated that Tesla knew its cars had faulty suspensions and they didn't do a recall. And then Tesla's response to that was, we fixed 120,000 suspensions. The reason why that's eye-opening is because there's other cars out there, millions potentially of cars in the United States where they haven't fixed the suspension or done a recall. Okay. That is a huge problem. That's putting all of us at risk.
This is like if they're watching, I love it's like my Christmas, it's family dinner at Christmas, okay? We started on one thing and sort of went over here.
These are they're the wrong things to look at. Look, everybody that I know that has a Tesla loves their Tesla. They love it. Okay, one of my friends has had every type of car. If he could get rid of his car every year, he would, because he just freaking gets bored of them, okay? This is the first car that he's like, I still love this freaking car. I mean, everybody I know that has one loves it, okay? people are going to buy Teslas for many reasons, and it becomes a personal preference at that time. My problem with it is I don't totally agree with the EV story. I also look at my surroundings, and being in New York, perfect example, I went to the car wash the other day. Okay, they're drying off my car, and there was 5 cars there, 0 Teslas, 2 Mercedes, 1 BMW, 1 Audi, and a Ford. I mean, I don't see as many Teslas on the road as I thought I would see in the area I'm in. I just don't. I also think that the notion that some bulls have about why would anybody ever buy anything other than a Tesla? Because they freaking like other brands. It's like, why would anybody drink anything but a Coke? Pepsi sucks, but people love freaking Pepsi. I don't know, but you're not going to convert every car driver. 1. 2, penetration is the thing that I really get worried about, because how much more of the luxury market can they actually get? People are not going to stop driving sports cars. People are not going to stop driving BMWs or Mercedes or Audis. They're just not going to. And then how much of the lower end market can they grab? We don't know yet. But I think the EV needs an inflection point of being able to charge in under 5 minutes for it to really catch on. There are too many people that have my mindset that unless I can charge in 5 minutes, I don't want it.
Right.
I don't know. I get worried about Tesla. And look, it goes back to resale. I'm sorry, but the fact that he slashed these prices so many times, you buy something, everybody knows a car is not an investment. It's a depreciating asset. Okay. That doesn't change the fact that if you buy a car for 60 grand or 70 grand, and then you get 3 or 4 or 5 price cuts, and now you can just go buy a new one a year later at 35 or 40 grand. That's not necessarily good for your resale value when you want to go buy a new car in 4 or 5 years.
Right.
And you could have people that are pissed off and hold a grudge and say, I'm never doing that again. With that, we're not going to see that for a while. Also, the fact that no other company can ever compete and Tesla's going to be the best indefinitely is a crazy idea. Now, they've done an amazing job being ahead of the competition. And
so you think the alpha is gone for the car part of the business?
That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that the bull case is skewed towards something that has never happened ever in the history of any company.
But that's Elon Musk. He pulls it off. He's the guy.
He has pulled it off.
He probably will keep pulling it off. He's making Twitter into.
It has the best margins out of any car company. Great financials, phenomenal company. I get scared of the valuation, and I just don't have the same conviction on the car side of the business.
There are 2 million pre-orders on the Cybertruck.
Yeah, that's awesome. But that's pre-orders. Let's see how many people actually take delivery.
I mean, they're probably only going to be able to deliver like what, a couple 100,000? So they have a big margin of safety, you know.
Who knows?
What do you mean, who knows? There's a lot of demand. It's pretty obvious.
I'm not saying there isn't. Who knows? But I'm telling you that the bot business is what grabbed me. Because humans are lazy. Okay?
But that's so far away, dude. That's the one thing.
I don't think it is.
You think
I really don't think it is.
Your groceries like in the next 2 years? I don't think so.
I think so. We're going into 2024. I think by 2030, you're going to have bots in a lot of households.
Okay, so 5 years, 6 years from now. Okay.
And
it is crazy. 2030 is coming up. It's not like a decade away anymore.
And the big thing with the bot, and I saw that price at 22,000. Now, if the bot is 50 grand, there's a problem, and it's not going to, my thesis is going to go kaplooey. It's not going to work.
Kaplooey. I like that word.
But if they keep to this $22,000 price point on the bot, it becomes another car payment, a very cheap car payment when you finance it over a 5-year period. Okay. For a couple $100 a month, if you can get a bot that can do the dishes, take out the trash, do the laundry, fold the laundry, and clean the bathroom. If it only does those things, I would be willing to wager that you see significant adoption because people value things that make their lives easier.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, and no bullshit here.
Yep.
What if the bot also could be a girlfriend, right? and it's trained on an LLM. Like, do you think people would buy it for
Yes, I
companionship?
do.
You think it would happen, right?
I think that you're going to see something to that level probably in 15, 20 years.
I think it's because like if you look at what people pay for adult website, like that's the inevitable transition. Right?
The evolution of that stuff, everybody who says something's not going to happen in that industry, it always goes a step further. It's always ahead of everything. I mean, it's just, why wouldn't it?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
people
I
would
mean,
pay.
why wouldn't it? But don't think about it from that aspect. Think about it from an adult that is 70, 80 years old that just wants somebody to talk to.
Right.
Companionship from that
Yeah.
level
Big
where
deal.
your significant other, your friends and family have passed away, you're alone. Like there's a whole other industry on that end.
There's literally
Also-
therapist GPT products being built every day.
Also personal care for helping somebody not fall as an aid. Like there's a lot of applicable applications for this in the future. And it's not just something that makes your life easier, but from a use case for me, if it can make my wife's and my life easier with just doing those simple tasks, I'm all in on this. And I do believe that they're going to have a reoccurring model that's $39 or $49 or $59 a month that puts it into a bank where it's continuously learning on Tesla's servers, and all the information from all the bots is getting uploaded, and every task that every robot does, every other robot learns from it.
And it'll be trained on Twitter data too, which is free.
It'll just learn how to do everything better. And I think that this is something where it can just be a huge reoccurring revenue generator. And that's just in the homes. What about in businesses? What about in warehouses? What about in manufacturing? There's so many possibilities for this.
Yeah, I mean, when you put it like that, honestly, like obviously it has to get to that stage, which I
It has
just
to
think
get
is far.
there. And
I
I'm
think it's
not
farther
saying
than
this is
people
going to
think.
happen overnight. I'm not saying it's going to happen anytime soon. I'm saying that I think that I'll have a bot in the next 5 to 10 years. That's why I'm buying it now at these ridiculous valuations, because I'm holding it for the long term. And prices come down, I'm going to buy more. Prices go up, I'm going to buy more.
It is kind of crazy that the bot is, but like this is the beauty of Tesla. It gets people from different angles, right?
Yeah.
Some people just love Elon. Some people love EVs.
I think the car is going to be their base. I think that's going to be their profit driver to make all these other things come true. And I'm way more bullish on the bot than the other industries. I don't think robo-taxi is a real thing. I'm sorry.
You don't think FSD is going to create?
I did not say FSD. I said robo-taxi.
Well, that's the inevitable. The whole point of FSD is for robo-taxi.
No, the whole point of FSD is because people are lazy and don't want to drive themselves.
Which is crazy because I love driving. I enjoy it, actually.
But here's the thing for robo-taxi. No, Evan Glassman, I do believe in FSD. I don't believe in robo-taxi. Robo-taxi, if you're buying a car for any amount of money, I don't care how much money it is, whether it's a $5,000 beater or a luxury car, are you really going to allow other people to drive in it and let it go around and just drive and pick up other people? Like, I'm not buying a car and then when I'm not using it, allowing it to go and freaking be a self-driving Uber. There's zero chance of that happening. I have not talked to a single person that I know that would even think of it to do that. The other thing is the insurance aspect. Like, there is going to be such a problem on the insurance side, because when you have car insurance, let me think about the best way to say this without getting into a huge argument. You have car insurance, Tesla is under you.
Right.
If it is driving around and it gets into an accident and something fatal happens, okay? And you get, who's going to get one?
Tesla will pay for it. Tesla.
So you say that now, but I want to see who actually pays for it. And then when the lawsuits come, you can sue anybody for anything. So I want to see what happens with all these things, because even if Tesla accepts all liability, the car is still registered in your name. The car is still insured in your name, which means that you are very likely to be named in a lawsuit. So I think that this is something that I need to see a lot more information on before I even get excited about it. And I don't care. I would never place my vehicle in. So it's just not happening.
Last question on Tesla, then I want to quickly move to SoFi because we got to talk about that. Elon Musk, do you feel comfortable betting on him? Or actually, let me phrase the question. TJ said he'd rather have Elon out the company and have Tesla run as a well-oiled machine without the political stuff. Would you like that? Would you like Elon gone?
No.
You don't agree with that?
No. Now,
even though he says some random shit on Twitter and anti-Semitic and all this, like you don't know.
Do I care what he does in his free time? No.
Okay, so you want him to be the CEO for the next decade?
I don't know that I want him to be CEO, but I want him to at least be the chief engineer, and I want him to be the chief visionary, and I want him to freaking paint the picture about the company's direction in the future. Maybe having somebody else running the day-to-day operations and getting an awesome COO or something that has...
I feel like it's already happening to an extent.
Yeah, to an extent. Getting somebody like, because look, Elon's a control freak. So maybe he keeps the CEO title. But if he has a COO that has total control without the title, maybe that's a better situation.
Yeah.
Take Elon out of the spotlight a little bit on that end. And that could work also. But if Elon's not involved in this company, I think the investment thesis gets blown up.
I sell my 5 shares tomorrow. What do you say about Chris's comment? Why wouldn't Tesla just make a taxi-only version and make all the margin? Why even bother selling to the consumer?
They could. And that would probably be a better business. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tesla was to buy Uber.
Huh.
Because why wouldn't you buy it for the infrastructure and just replace everybody that's driving an Uber with a Tesla that drives people around? Because people that are getting into a Uber, they'll get into a robotaxi.
That's actually, dude, it's not a bad argument.
It'll be the best thing that they freaking did.
Now, they would have to pay like $200 billion for Uber. Uber's at $100 billion right now. They would have to pay a hefty premium.
It'd be great.
By then, probably $300-400 billion if Uber's around. And
yeah, look, Tesla has the infrastructure. They have the balance sheet. They can get the lending to do something like that, and it would make a lot of sense.
But what if they just make their own Uber? Why do they need to buy Uber?
I mean, they could, but I think that you'd already want the Uber model, the Uber brand, the Uber name, and everything that Uber's done.
Yeah,
it would just make things. It would streamline everything. Everybody's already got an Uber account. It's all set up. It just makes things easier.
Do you use Uber or Lyft?
I don't use either, but when I did, I used Uber.
I use Uber too. And now they have advertising because, like, why not, right? Why wouldn't you sell ads on the damn thing? So I think it's a great business, quite frankly. I never loved the valuation, but now they're gap profitable. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of infrastructure.
Dude, the business idea is amazing for Uber.
It's phenomenal. The VCs made a lot of money. I think shareholders haven't made enough, but granted,
I mean, I'm a big anything that reduces drunk driving, I'm a big fan of.
Yeah, agree.
And I'll get behind anything like that. There are things that I would like to see different with the company. Like there's safety things that obviously, regardless, I'm a big fan of anything that gets people away from driving drunk.
Okay, you said in a Seeking Alpha article that SoFi could end the year at $10 at one point. SoFi, we got 4 days left in the year. 1033 busted through that $10 today, up 129% year to date. It was at $6 a month ago. What's going on with SoFi? Why is it doing what it's doing right now?
I mean, you're talking.
You're the guy who knows about SoFi. Why is it up? How much is it up in the past month? This sucker, 40% in the past month.
It's doubled in the past 6 months.
Goodness. Well, 60. Well, yeah, because it hit 11 in July. But the lows were 683. Now it's
do a year to date. Like it was at 4 or something like that.
Yeah, it was at 4. This is in May, 476.
It's up 130% this year. I'm a big fan of SoFi for a lot of reasons. My reasons are much different than most people that follow SoFi.
Hold on, I got some breaking news. Real quick. Let me say this right now on the pod. It has to do with SoFi. So the SoFi short report just came out. They were 16% short 2 weeks ago. Right now, they are 14.5% short. That means they have lost 10% of the short float from 2 weeks ago. So shorts have covered.
Yeah, so and I said that we were probably going to see shorts covering, and I couldn't believe that it was more than 15% short. And probably SoFi Weekly 2 weeks ago. Look, the whole thing about SoFi, I gotta bring up the statistics. I don't like giving bad numbers. Just give me one.
Real
moment.
quick, Chris says SoFi is a speculator's dream. Do you agree with that while you're coming up with your numbers?
I mean, it's certainly a speculative stock at the moment.
So you agree that it's a speculator's dream.
They're not Bank of America yet.
I mean, they're not profitable yet, but
Correct. They're not profitable yet.
These guys get us a little bit of gap profitability,
which I think is going to happen
in 30 days. You know.
Yeah. All right, so let's just look at some of these stats. These stats are not mine. Okay. Over the next decade,
can you share the screen? Is it possible? Just so people can see. Thank you, 345 people being with us. This is an extended version of Finance Junkies. For those that are bored on their Christmas vacation, you're here with us, Steve and I, on 105 KISS FM. Go ahead, Steve.
So this is from an article that I wrote, but I have everything cited from where I took the information. So,
right, and you wouldn't want ChatGPT to just steal this, would you? You wouldn't feel happy if they did that, correct?
It's not my content. I don't own this.
Okay, go ahead.
Over the next decade, Gen Z is on track to take over the economy. According to Bank of America, Gen Z's income will reach $33 trillion and surpass millennials in 2031. Since the end of 2020, Gen Z is on track to increase its income from $7 trillion to $17 trillion by 2025. That's really the main aspect. Now, when you think about younger generation, they don't know banking the way that I know banking, about having to physically go to a branch, not having an ATM card because there were no ATMs. I mean, banking in the 80s and 90s was much different. Banking has become so much more advanced that you can open up an account from your smartphone, and you are not segmented to your neighborhood bank or driving 20 miles to go to a bigger bank depending on where you live. You can open up a bank with any institution anywhere on your phone. I think that SoFi is going to be the bank of choice for the younger generation. You're not going to get people necessarily that are older and established, because it is a pain in the ass to move all your financial stuff and redo everything. People are lazy. I keep going back to that. But the younger generation wants everything at a moment's notice. They want cloud-first products. SoFi is a bank that is building something that the younger generation is going to be more aligned with than a JP Morgan Chase or a Bank of America.
But then why does Chris say they're a speculator's dream? Like, here's this question right here. He says, real question, when the Fed does cut rates, how will SoFi support the 5.25 on customer deposits? They will likely have to cut interest and take away a significant part of their deposit. So basically saying they're not going to be able to acquire customers.
Of course they are, but everybody else is also, and SoFi is in a better position to keep rates higher than the competition because they don't have branches and they don't have the overhead that traditional banks have. So of course, as the Fed cuts rates and warehouse rates decline and what you can charge on your loans decline, SoFi is going to have to decrease with the times. But they're probably going to be in a much better position than others, and they'll still have a more attractive rate than others.
Right.
I mean, you have rates where they are, and JP Morgan Chase and Bank of America pays you less than 0.25% on a savings.
Right.
So, I mean, big thing with SoFi is they have the potential to become a top 10 financial institution. I am looking at it from a tech platform. They're the only financial institution that owns the back end the way that they do between the combination of Technisys and Galileo. Technisys was acquired for 100% stock, not $1 of cash on the balance sheet. Okay. Do I care that it was diluted for that reason? No, because they're saving $80 to $100 million a year starting in 2025, I believe. And before that, I think it was 60 to 70 million.
So how do you justify the $10 billion valuation right now I guess. Do you think that's undervalued? Like, because I mean, you said the Technesis and they use shareholder dollars for, and like that makes sense. They're going to be gap profitable, but is it undervalued?
It depends how you look at it. I can make an argument either way.
This is how I look at it. If I buy it at 10, will it go down? That's all I care.
Anything can go down.
I mean, I know, but like,
anything. Is
it Tesla at 414 where it was obviously going to go down? You know what I mean?
SOFI's growth rates are extremely good. They're projecting that they're going to be growing by roughly 800,000 members a quarter, I think next year or the year after. You have student loans that are just coming back now. In the face of one of the hardest things SOFI ever had to go through as a company, Noto and the management team pivoted on a dime. And I don't know any other management companies that could have pulled off what they did. I'm sure there's a few, but most people would have probably failed trying to do what they did. They had their largest revenue driver ceased. They pivoted, they built around it, they became stronger, and they continue to grow. This is going to be the first time where everything is firing on all cylinders. And people are not discussing the tech side of this. And
yeah, talk about that, because we were on the phone a couple of weeks ago.
Did you read what I sent you actually about it? You did not, did you?
So I did not read it because I was saving for this opportunity. By the way, is that cold coffee? There's no way that's hot coffee. You're drinking cold. Why are you drinking? Why don't you go heat it up? I'll wait for you.
No, why am I gonna? Dude, what is it with people? I eat cold pasta and I drink cold coffee. Whatever.
Why do you drink cold? What's the whole point of coffee is unless it's iced coffee? Why? Here, Steve, that coffee was hot 5 hours ago. You drank it hot, and now you're letting yourself drink it cold. That means the intention wasn't to drink it cold. So why are you letting yourself?
Because when you brew it, it brews hot.
Right. So why are you but that was the intention, to be hot. Why are you? My sister does the same thing, and it's so weird, bro. It's so weird to me. Like this Gatorade was meant to be cold. So I'm drinking it cold. That coffee, I imagine it gushing down your esophagus right now. And it's like, I wish I was hot. And you're just like drinking the coldness. Like, anyway, I didn't read the tech side of the thing you sent me because I was waiting for this opportunity for us to read it together.
Okay. We're not going to read it together. I'll give you the 100-mile overview.
Okay. Please do that. Yes.
Okay. You know what Technesis does and you know what Galileo does. Not going to get into the two of those because you understand that.
B2B payments API. Yep.
Cyberbank platform, everything, card issuing, build all your products on top of it. SOFI has a turnkey product, okay? Because in addition to that, SOFI can sponsor bank, it can do your checking, it can do your savings, it can do everything. So now you have a turnkey product. Not only can they power other fintechs or other entities, they are now in the RFP process for financial institutions to run on their banking platform. And that's huge. They did not say who, but somebody on the regional banking side that is supposedly pretty big chose their product. They have not, for some reason, said who it is. I have a feeling I know who it is. I think it's Truist. I could be 100% wrong. And that's because in Truist Q3 presentation, they had a whole slide dedicated to their cloud first initiative and digital banking and all the progress they've made. It kind of sets up well for what an integration using SOFI's platform would do for them. But they haven't been public about it. I could be 100% wrong. So the big thing with them is they're currently in the RFP process with large financial institutions, plural, and other regional banks. We know that from the transcripts on the conference calls. Over the next couple of years, if SOFI, and you got to remember, a lot of these banking systems were created in the 70s and 80s and consistently spaghetti strapped Band-Aids to get them to work. They weren't built cloud first. With all the new regulations and all the new identity theft regulations and all the personal information stuff, the government is having more and more regulations on banks. Very stringent. A lot of these banks have to upgrade and completely overhaul what they're doing.
Now, are you sure they have to upgrade, or are you just assuming?
No. I mean, I can't cite because I don't know where it was. I've read several things. One of them is in one of my articles where there is a lot of regulations that are making banks redo some of their infrastructure. You can,
Right.
if you Google it, you'll find all the stuff about it. But there's a reason. I think JP Morgan is going with Think Engine, I think, is the name of the company, but they're currently spending hundreds of millions of dollars upgrading everything. It's no secret that this needs to happen. SOFI is the only financial institution that owns the back end the way that they do. If they end up getting a couple of big clients over the next couple of years, they'll probably end up getting more and more clients. They need one big name client. And if they get that, they are now generating reoccurring revenue from their competition. And the tech platform can continuously get bigger and bigger. And then they can possibly start powering other fintechs. This is an opportunity that none of these other financial institutions have. And this is something that could make them get a hybrid multiple. I don't think they're going to get a full tech multiple. But if they end up getting 20% or 25% of their revenue coming from the tech platform, or maybe more, you could get a hybrid multiple on this and not a financial institution multiple. And it could be considerably more valuable than a straight financial and more appealing for another company to acquire.
Okay, now real quick, I'm gonna let you finish, but what happens if they get hit with a bank run, as Chris says? Does any of this even matter, this tech stuff you're talking about?
I mean, look, every bank is susceptible to a bank run. Like, that's not going to change. I mean, that's a fear with everybody. So that becomes how good are your actuaries? How good are the people on the back end? What's your risk mitigation for loan? Your threshold for defaults? There's a lot of things that go into it with a bank run. Maybe the Fed backstop stuff. Maybe they don't. Who knows? I mean, it's just banks fail. Do I think it's going to happen? I don't have the answer to that because I can't read into the future. It's not something I worry about, though.
Right.
It's possible.
Okay. So your larger argument is that the tech platform is going to fundamentally kind of transform the way that the market values it. And there's not a lot of, like, JP Morgan's not building out a tech infrastructure part of the business that could give them a SaaS multiple. Neither is Truist.
Look, I think that SoFi's bigger plan is they're going to get into business. They're going to get into asset management. They already have their own ETFs. Look, I would love for SoFi to go in a different direction. I've said this a lot. I don't care about options. I think it's silly. I don't want them to do options. Don't want them to focus on that. I want them to build an asset management arm. Liz Young is on CNBC every week. She's on Risk Reversal Media all the time.
Yo, what's up with her too? What does she do for SoFi? What is her job?
She's their chief investment officer.
So, no, but what does that mean?
I would think that she probably has a pretty big hand in building their ETFs and everything. I don't know what she does.
So she's the reason people have not made any money this year if you've invested in her philosophy.
Anyway.
Does that not look bad on SoFi to like, if you're an investment app for retail and your head ETF lady is a bear that's gotten it all wrong, doesn't that kind of look bad?
I mean,
like a little bit.
There's a lot of things she was right about.
I mean, she said don't invest and the market went up 20%. Isn't that like bad to her to represent retail?
I mean, you don't bat it. Nobody bats 1,000.
No, I get it. But if you're going to have a head of investing to guide the retail investors on your platform, like, she's a really smart
not guiding people. She's just giving her opinion.
Yeah, she is guiding, dude. She's on every podcast telling people not to buy. What are you talking about? Of course she's guiding.
She's giving her opinion on CNBC. It's a moot point. But anyway.
Regardless, she's really smart. I was just wondering.
Need an asset management arm. They need to become a Vanguard or a BlackRock or one of these companies that is instrumental in the 401k process and 403b process, because then they're making double fees. They're getting their asset management fee, and then they're getting their ETF/mutual fund management fee for assets under management there. Build out the business platform, start doing small business loans, start doing medium-sized business loans. They already have the real estate that's going to start with the mortgages, with Wyndham, they can become a top 10 financial institution in the future. Yeah, a lot of people are wrong all the time. It's one person's opinion, but SOFI can be the future for a generation. And is it more likely younger people are going to go with SOFI or JP Morgan? I think they're more likely to go with SOFI. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong right now on that, but
So
you can't deny.
What is your biggest bear case for the company? Is it the kind of thing?
Hold on. Before I tell you my bear case, you can't deny their membership growth and their deposit growth, and you can't deny their revenue.
But they've been
growth.
paying that 5% for that membership growth, right? I mean,
okay. And when rates go down and they're paying 3%, other people will be paying way less. So it's going to be the same thing as it is now. I don't know where you went, but my biggest bear case, if you can hear me, is that
I just have to get one thing. You're good. You're good.
Okay. So my bear case would be the tech side doesn't materialize.
Okay.
They don't win the RFPs. Deposits decrease and start to go in the negative instead of growth, and they lose members. I mean, all that's possible, and you have to be willing. When you invest, you got to be willing to accept the bear case, even if you're bullish on the company. I fully understand that this is not a sure thing, and things can go wrong. I mean, anybody who doesn't think that's crazy. I mean, things can certainly go wrong, but they have grown considerably through a very difficult time. And I think they're going to come into a time that's going to be very good for their business. And if they keep firing on these levers, I think they're going to do really good. I mean, if they weren't going to be profitable this quarter, they would have guided already. I don't think we're going to get a surprise unless they come out and say something. If they don't come out with a report, I don't see how they can come out of the quarter and not be profitable at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they're going to be profitable. There's no way they're not. If they're not profitable, the stock's in the gutter. I mean,
look, they've been saying that this is the quarter that they're profitable in. So
what do you say to KRIS, who says, Steve, why wouldn't people buy dividend stocks instead?
I mean, it's a methodology thing. I mean, people who are buying income producing assets aren't necessarily buying growth stocks. SOFI is not a dividend stock. I mean, I think I'm a unique person because I invest in everything. I have capital allocated here. I got capital allocated there, and I'll buy dividend stocks and I'll buy freaking growth assets and I'll buy big tech. People who are investing in dividend stocks are probably solely, SOFI is probably not their cup of tea.
Right. Okay. What do you think? Do you have any thoughts at all about Celsius? This is a new position, KRIS.
I don't follow it.
Energy drink.
I know. Look, I know that Pepsi took a pretty big position. I think it was like 500 million or something like that, a crazy valuation a couple of years ago.
My broader question though is these types of CPGs, right? These consumer packaged goods, right? These companies that it's up. Celsius up 247% all time. I mean, year to date, it's up a lot, 66%. Like, would you ever invest in an energy drink because you're seeing it all across like your lunch and your cafeteria and the bar, or is that your investing style? Is my question.
No, I mean if my wife was into that stuff, she probably would if she knew what this was. It's not I would be looking at the financials more. I've never looked at the financials on this, so I have no idea.
But in terms of pure growth of the energy drink and the brand, you don't think is like, I guess my question is, do you think there's a moat outside of the numbers of like Red Bull? If you could invest in Red Bull before it was Red Bull, is that something that interests you? Or
it interests me, and if there's a moat or two different things. If it interests me, no, not really. But
why? But why? That's my question. Why? Why doesn't it interest you? Because I kind of feel the same. I feel the same. I kind of don't care about an energy drink as much as
because of all the things I can invest in. I'm more interested in other things. And I think it's probably easier to come out with a better or new energy drink than something else. Probably harder to come out with something that's going to dethrone Palantir from the military than an energy drink. Like, let's put it this way. If I really wanted to, like really, 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 really wanted to, I'd come out with an energy drink. Is it going to sell?
You can come out with an energy drink?
Yeah, why not?
Is it going to be called cold coffee or something?
It's not a bad name.
Dude, that would be the worst name of all time. Calling
What?
something cold coffee energy.
I don't think it would sell, but there are companies that you can pay and tell them exactly what you want and all the ingredients, and you can biohack it. And there are companies that are set up to do this for energy drinks.
But brand is a moat. I mean, Red Bull's not going
100%.
anywhere.
And that's why I'm saying, if I really wanted to, I could build an energy drink. Doesn't mean I can sell an energy drink. Two different things. But you can bootstrap it. You look at what Logan Paul did. I mean, I've never had Prime. Freaking definitely
Not
all
that
over the
good.
place and taking a bite out of Gatorade and Powerade.
Yeah.
But think about it. Who would have thought that anybody would have dethroned Gatorade? And I don't know if they're dethroned or not, but you had Powerade, Body Armor, which from everything I've had, which I think is the best.
Vitamin water.
Vitamin water, if you want to put that in the same category. I don't know if that's the same category or not, but you could put it in there. Prime. I mean, I don't know.
What about, so Chris says it's a Peter Lynch play. Do you agree with that? That's a good
I
idea.
don't know anything about it. I have no idea. But it is everywhere. You know, shelf space is a real thing. Where it is, how many outlets it's in. Yeah, I mean, it could totally work. I don't know. It's not, let's look at the numbers. What's the ticker?
Let's look at the numbers. CELH. That is a ticker symbol. Let us know in the chat if you drank Celsius ever.
I've never had. I have no idea what it tastes like.
I had it. I didn't like it, but you know, my opinion, it doesn't matter. A lot of people like it.
All
I'll
right,
make a poll.
Look at
Who's
this.
drank this thing? By the way, 297 people voted. 76% of people would pick Google over Meta. 70%.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat probably. All right, so you got huge growth. I mean, what is that, like 90% or so?
Yep.
Year over year. More than 100% growth in 2022 year over year. So huge growth factor. And the big thing that people need to remember is with Pepsi taking an investment in this, they're leveraging Pepsi's distribution. So that definitely sets them apart from other things because Pepsi has one of the best distribution networks globally, not domestically, globally. Okay, so that's a huge feather in the cap for Celsius. So I really like that about them. Very good margins. Okay, profitable. Let's look at the balance sheet.
Go to the last quarter. Chris is saying the last quarter is where you've got to look.
I will. I want to look at it on a TTM. I'm going to go quarterly.
Okay, understood.
So I love this. There's like no goodwill. That's amazing.
So they're not charitable at all.
No, that means that they didn't make any acquisitions or anything that they need to write off.
Right, because they don't care about underprivileged, so they don't have any goodwill.
Come on.
I mean, even I gave away goodwill.
Don't say that.
I mean, just it's pretty.
I get it, you're making a joke, but it's not a good joke to make.
Well, you know what, Steve? I bet there's some people laughing at home, and it was a good joke.
There's a lot of people that are unfortunate. It's not a good joke to make.
Well, when you put it like that, then yeah, you do. I was okay. Whatever, fine.
So this is the metric I love. There's no long-term debt. That's amazing. Amazing.
Wait, they have zero debt, or they have no long-term?
No, they have no long-term debt.
Okay.
Which means that, their total debt is 1.3 million. Where is that on here? What is that? Capital leases? Half of their debt is capital leases.
What does that mean? What does capital leases mean?
Plant property. So if they have a manufacturing facility that they're renting or something.
1.3 million is nothing. That is
nothing. They got no debt. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, the balance sheet's awesome.
But so the numbers check out. My question now is, would you like to buy it?
So here's the thing, and I've always said this about Tesla, okay? I love the fact that Tesla grew from issuing shares rather than taking on debt. Regardless of you're getting diluted to kingdom come or not, Celsius has grown by issuing shares, and they did not go crazy with it. They have a very low float. 231 million shares is not a lot of shares. outstanding. So that's very enticing. They don't pay a dividend. They're a young company. But when you look at it, a couple of years, I wouldn't be surprised if they implement a buyback program.
Huh.
Let's look at the cash flow statement before we go on a quarterly basis real quick. I want to see what their CapEx is.
Yeah, I want to know what their CapEx is too.
Stock-based compensation's low. Amazing. They're not like Block. Great. Love that. All right. Good free cash flow. CapEx is not big, probably because they're utilizing Pepsi quite a bit. I like it. All right. So Chris wanted to do quarterly. Let's go back to income. Wow.
They had a really good quarter last quarter.
Look at that quarter over quarter growth. Wow.
What is it? What is
wow,
it?
wow, wow.
I don't see it. What is it?
So they went from 188 million to 384 million. So
Holy
it's like
guacamole.
107% year over year and quarter over quarter, something like that.
That's a lot.
It's awesome.
That's a lot.
Biggest net income they've ever had. And their net income has quarter over quarter growth for the past 2 quarters. That's awesome.
So they're growing. So, I mean, like, they're legitimately growing. It's not BS growth, which means the question.
Legit.
So why wouldn't you buy them?
I'm getting somewhat interested at the moment.
So your numbers are that good. You're getting interested off one look.
Yeah.
That means it's good numbers.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting interested. And look, I obviously missed a lot of the upside, but there could be even more. I mean, I need to look at the numbers are compelling. I need to look at some other things.
Stock was like $1 in 2020. It's
Yeah,
50.
I'm sure people made fucking retirement money on it.
Yeah.
So the forward P is not necessarily that crazy because we're at the end of 2023. So it's trading at 53 times 2024's earnings, 37 times 2025, and 26 times 2026. And over that 3-year period, you're going to double the EPS growth. I mean, that is pretty interesting. And that's on the current assumptions. They could grow much quicker than they already are, possibly. Like, I need to see how big the market is. I need to see who their competitors are, what market share they have, what stores they're in, what stores they're trying to get into, Amazon ranking. But there's other things I need to see to kind of make a forward model of it. There's certain things that I look at for these types of companies only because I was in e-commerce, so I have an understanding of that aspect of the business and what to look for in retail. But the numbers are very interesting. I need to do more research on this.
So in general, the numbers are good, and the idea of a brand spreading globally in terms of like a drink, because at the end of the day, it's just a drink. Like, they know their costs. They just have to keep expanding.
Yeah, but you got to remember, costs can fluctuate.
Right. I mean, that, yeah.
Where are they? What markets are they trying to get into? How much of their revenue is domestic versus international?
And they barely penetrated the market when it comes to energy drinks as well. So there is a lot of room for growth for sure.
Yeah, there's room for growth, but what other products are on the horizon? Are they just going to stay an energy drink? Do they have a hydration drink? Are they going to try tap into that market and utilize their brand? I need to look at Pepsi's portfolio.
Well, what about this of a risk? What if people stop drinking energy drinks?
Yeah, that's a huge risk.
Wait, is that a huge risk, or do you think you actually
huge risk? If in 2 years from now there's something that says there's something in energy drinks that is linked to elevated levels of heart attacks or something,
Well, we've known that for like 20 years and people still drink it. Right?
I mean, there's risks. I mean, I don't know. There's certainly risks. Are those risks going to materialize is a different thing. I mean, look, caffeine's the biggest drug there is. I'll argue that all day long. Look at the amount of people that drink coffee every day.
Look at people that drink cold coffee at 10 p.m. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing that I never liked about Celsius, and this is a stupid reason to not like it, but nonetheless, I'm going to give the reason. I don't know what their brand is. Like, Red Bull took a guy to like not the moon, but outer space, and they threw him off. You remember this in 2012? Have you seen this? And they record it. Like there's a brand of just like, go for it. Kind of this Nike, just do it, live on the edge. They sponsor all the X Games. I don't know what the Celsius brand is. It's just a stupider way of saying Fahrenheit, you know? And
that was funny. I tried not to laugh. That was funny. I'll give you that. That was funny.
And so at the end of the day, I'm like, wait a second, what exactly is the... So do you think that's an issue? The fact that I don't know what Celsius is tied to as like a brand?
I mean, do you drink energy drinks?
I drink Red Bull here and there. I like Red Bull. Monster sometimes, but I tried Celsius. I just never liked it.
I mean, so it's only a problem if you would never be able to be converted from one of those two.
But you don't think they need to have their own independent, like I'm gonna go to their website. What is even on their website? Let's see. Celsius, what do they have? Celsius. Okay, their website doesn't pop up immediately. It's because I'm spelling it wrong. Celsius Energy. Celsius Fitness Drinks. Okay, so they have the thing. Because Red Bull, I get this vibe of just like, go for it, you know?
So are these fitness drinks or energy drinks?
These are, I mean, I don't know. I guess they're branding it as fitness. And look at this. Like they're, okay, so it's fitness. Okay, so maybe that's their brand, the gym, because the gym is a huge market.
So they're trying to go after like pre-workout supplements and explosive.
Yeah, it's going to accelerate your metabolism and provide essential energy. Okay. They're going after gym. They're definitely going after gym people.
I mean, look, if this is and I know nothing about this, so take what I'm about to say with a grain of salt, but if this is a cleaner way and a more efficient way of a pre-workout than making a pre-workout drink from the mix, could be huge.
Chris, I just saw the video you sent me. Dude, we're going to totally demonetize the stream if we watch that. This is Get Mojo. They're going to definitely spike the stream. So I'd rather probably not watch that right now. But he was going to show everything you need to know about Celsius drinks. He was going to show us a video about Celsius.
Is this Red? Oh, this is Red Bull. I was going to say.
Yeah, what I'm on is Red Bull right now.
Red Bull's in every freaking bar.
Yeah, Chris, I know this brand. Get Mojo, they are a legit YouTube brand. They would not. But I'll put in the chat for those that want to check out the video. Check this out. But see, Red Bull, like this is like a legitimate. You see, they're like bungee jumping off in Dubai. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but Red Bull, aren't they a huge sponsor of the X Games and everything?
That's my point. How do you dethrone that brand with Celsius?
I don't know they're the same market. I mean,
definitely the same market in my opinion.
I don't know if they are. Red Bull, you're not necessarily drinking Red Bull before you go to the gym, but I know a lot of people that are probably drinking Red Bull on their way to work or Red Bull to stay awake.
People are drinking Celsius on the way to work and stay awake.
That's I don't know enough about it, but when you're telling me Celsius is going after the fitness industry, that doesn't necessarily scream an alternative to coffee tonight.
Okay. That's fair.
Where Red Bull or Monster is an alternative to coffee in a lot of aspects.
Let me get your thoughts on this. I know you don't care about Bitcoin, but I want to get your thoughts on this. Michael Saylor bought 14,000 more Bitcoin. They now have 189,000. You're already rolling your eyes, but listen to me. They're sitting on about 3 billion of Bitcoin profits, and they've collateralized the entire company to the point where they don't really have to pay back the debt they used to buy the Bitcoin, as long as the share price is above $517 by January 2025, which if Bitcoin does what it needs to do, it will be, because they'll just dilute shareholders, and the debt, the people that loan them the money will just convert their debt into stock. That's the deal they have. Is this one of the most genius things financially that a fiduciary has ever done, to be able to sit on $3 billion of profits by collateralizing a business that's not growing anymore to buy Bitcoin?
Like, I mean, isn't it in his best interest to buy a ridiculous amount more Bitcoin to get in headlines so people get excited about Bitcoin? Is it in his interest to do that?
No. You're misinterpreting what I'm saying.
I'm not misinterpreting it. I understand everything you said.
Basically, a shitty company, a business intelligence
company. I get it, and it's very smart. But what I'm saying,
threw it under the bus, took the money from the debt loaners, bought Bitcoin, and it worked.
Yeah, very smart. But isn't it once again in his best interest to keep buying more Bitcoin to keep it in the headlines? Just saying.
I mean, it's going to be in the headlines. I don't think Michael's
saying. I agree, it is, but this doesn't hurt.
My point is, do you think this is one of the smartest things someone's ever done in finance?
We'll see. It's been pretty smart so far.
I mean, now granted, if Bitcoin was at 20 grand, he would have margin called and it would have been the dumbest thing, right? But it worked. Like that's the thing about America. You take risks and sometimes they work.
It is working out. So at this point, it's pretty freaking smart. If it works out 2 years from now, it's a different story. Who knows? I don't know.
And you don't feel any FOMO to buy a little bitty coin.
I don't have FOMO.
That's Steve. Everyone has FOMO, Steve. Like, I get you've been investing for.
I have regrets.
Longer.
I got real regrets. I don't have FOMO. Like, I don't mind that I'm missing out on it. Whatever.
So you just have so much money, you don't need to worry about what you're.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I don't get caught up in the FOMO. Like, look, the way I look at it is, I live in the greatest country in the world.
True.
Okay.
True.
I don't really have a lot of worries, and my life could be a lot worse.
You have a wife that loves you.
When you put everything into perspective, FOMO is the last thing I think about. You know, we could have been born in other places. Our lives could be much different. So I don't worry about FOMO.
Let me ask you this question. Okay. I think our kids are going to grow up in a time where aging is likely going to be like solved to an extent. I mean, you're going to live to be 100, 150. Like that'll be the average versus right now 70. Would you rather be born in?
I would extend that.
Okay, go ahead.
I would say 250, 300.
Okay, I agree. It's going to be extended by a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to figure it out. Would you rather live in that time or be like grow up in that time with that technology available? Or would you rather be growing up with the internet? Because I think both opportunities give you, both time periods give you massive opportunity to do things in life. One extends your lifetime. The other one, you're at the precipice of like, you know, a multi-trillion-dollar revolution. Which one would you rather grow up in?
I think both have their pros and cons.
Yeah, but I'm asking you to pick. Which one would you pick?
I don't know. I don't know.
You got to pick.
Yeah, I really don't know.
I would pick the internet. I would pick the internet. I think the internet's more exciting. Because living longer is just like, all right, you're alive for another 100 years, like whatever, you're gonna die eventually. But
yeah, but
the internet,
if you get to the point where you can get rid of injuries and reconstruct cells and bone and tissue and have a better quality of life when you're older and not have to go through a lot of the stuff that we have to go through when we age.
right? But what if technology is so advanced that you have robots doing everything? You have to get a UBI from the government. You don't really have a purpose because tech is so advanced versus the internet era where you're the one making the technology.
That's why I said that there's pros and cons.
I would pick the internet.
I mean, look, I walk around in pain every day. Okay. So when I think about it from that aspect, there are things I would give up to not walk around in pain.
No, I feel you, dude. My back's starting to hurt. I know I'm younger than you, but it's happening to everybody.
So, and it's not the back. Like I have 2 titanium rods in my leg. Like I legitimately walk around in pain.
Right.
Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. And that's why the ARC-G fund that we've talked about has always intrigued me because I know nothing about that area. But
do you have any allocation to ARC-G or genomics?
No, I've always thought about buying some. I never have. I don't know enough about it. None of my friends who are in the medical field necessarily follow that stuff as much as I would like them to. I just think that there's going to be a huge opportunity in genomics. And I think that when you apply AI to these companies, they're going to be able to solve so many things in the next 10 to 20 years that these companies could end. I would not be surprised if, and it could take 20 or 30 years. It may be very long down the road, but I could totally see some of these types of companies becoming bigger than big tech today. Because when you think about the possibility of curing cancer or curing any of these things, heart disease, how much is that worth?
It's more exciting than Bitcoin, that's for sure. I mean,
so, and I have no idea to figure out which company is going to do it. So I think buying the basket, if you think genomics is going to be big, is probably an easier way to go. And
well, let me give you some credit here because one of the biggest holdings in genomics is this bad boy,
CRISPR.
T-Doc. You called this at 18. You called me November 28th around that early December time. You said, "Hey, Amit, T-Doc It's up 22% the past month. Any thoughts on this one, or you kind of just like forgot about this stock?
It's not exciting.
But you saw it as undervalued for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I thought based on the financials, it could be undervalued, but I don't know how much room they have to go because we're not at the point where you can get away from going to the doctor. I mean, yeah, you can have a doctor call stuff in for you, or you can do certain things, but at the end of the day, you still have to go to a doctor for a physical. You still have to go to a doctor to get your blood, or a lab to get your blood work taken. Like, teledoc is certainly something interesting to help augment appointments, but in order for them to get to that next level with mass adoption, something needs to get figured out. And, you know, I was talking to somebody, they're in the chat right now, or they were in the chat. I'm not going to say who, but, you know, they were saying that they're not the preferred service for what I believe is probably the biggest electronic medical record system, which is a problem for teledoc. So you need to be intertwined with Epic or GE Healthcare or NextGen or one of those companies. So I don't know. I'll take a look at it again, but it's not something that really interests me that much.
You know, we were talking earlier about like virtue signaling, and you know that post I made about Meta. Someone just commented, "Yeah, I'm not buying oil and cigarette companies. Sorry."
Okay.
And my response to them is, wait a second. You drive in a car every day that uses oil to get you to where you want to go. I mean, this is kind of what I'm. Can you just? This is the hard part for me to reconcile with people. Like, I just don't understand how people can say, "I'm never going to buy an oil company stock." Okay.
I think that
but you're using their products every day. That doesn't mean you have to buy it.
Yeah.
But the pure paradoxical hypocrisy there, I think, is something we as humans have to evaluate, because it leads to some really dramatic side effects.
Yeah, I get it.
If we
But I
allow that
don't
to continue.
think people necessarily realize how much oil and gas touch our lives every day. It's
But
not
they're still against the oil companies. Like,
driving a car, the clothes you're wearing is a derivative of oil.
oil is what helped the supply chain to make this plastic Gatorade
The
bottle.
plastic on your cell phone, your computer keyboard. I mean, it's just so many things.
I mean, this is the type of stuff that's actually stupid. I don't say that word. This is just like dumb.
Look, all I have to say is that investing is a beautiful thing because you can invest in what you want to invest in. You don't have to invest in tobacco.
And that's
You
what
don't
makes
have
the
to
market.
invest in oil.
And that's what makes. And look, I don't want to buy a
All
cigarette
good.
company either, but it's not because I think cigarettes are killing people. It's just I don't give a shit about cigarettes. But to say that oil is killing people and I'm against big oil, like, you know how they make Teslas, right? They have to burn some oil. They have to burn some coal.
My thing would be, how is electricity made?
I mean, it's just.
I mean, you got to charge your Tesla. How's electricity made?
And the thing is, I like the investing community because a lot of people are rational. And I left a lot of the other communities I was part of because people weren't rational, right? People were so ideological. And then I come to the investing community, and that some people are very ideological.
You can be ideological and invest in only those things. It's your money. You can do what you want.
No, you can. You can. It's just
Good.
it's the public virtue signaling of I'm a good person because I'm not going to invest in oil companies. Like, come on, buddy. Come on,
You're a
buddy.
good person by how you treat other people and what you do in your life, not necessarily what you invest in.
I agree.
So, you know, treat everybody the way that you want to be treated and don't be a scumbag. That's more important.
Most people don't know how ubiquitous oil is. Do you have any major oil plays right now that you think are massively undervalued at this moment?
Several.
Do you want to name a couple? Exxon, BP?
Energy Transfer.
Oh, this ET company. The alien, right?
Yes, the alien.
You've been talking about this one for a while. I mean, you've been.
Long time.
I don't want you to go through the whole thesis, but in a nutshell, you're bullish on ET.
And I've been bullish for a long time on ET.
Okay, year to date, these guys are up 18%. So that's good. Dividend of 9%. Wow. Why didn't you tell me about this earlier? You really leave out the gems, don't you?
How can you say that with straight face?
This is the first time I'm hearing about ET phone home from you. This is
Don't do that.
9%.
You said about a minute ago, I've been talking about this for a long time, so don't do that.
Why is that? I know. I'm just kidding. Why is Buffett buying Oxy, in your opinion?
Well, a lot of people think I'm wrong, but I think he's going to acquire the company, even though he said he
What?
wasn't.
What would be his motivate? Why do you think he wants to manage Occidental Petroleum?
Who said anything about managing?
I mean, but like, why do you think he wants that under his wing? Why do you? That's
Look how big Berkshire Energy is.
okay.
They have utilities, they have pipelines. They're huge. This strengthens Berkshire Energy. They already owned over 25% of the shares outstanding before they just made this past investment in Oxy. 2020, they bought 7,700 miles of pipeline from Dominion. I just think it fits well in their Berkshire Energy portfolio. And to the best of my recollection, Buffett's successor is going to be the guy who runs Berkshire Energy. I don't see them shying away from that.
But do you think he would buy it for? But he would be buying it for the dividend, right? I mean, like that's like what exactly is he?
No.
It hasn't moved in the past 5 years. What is he?
But he didn't. He wasn't buying it 5 years ago.
He was buying what? 2020.
He got into it when
Holy shit! This got to $10 in 2020.
Yeah, I'm the schmuck that bought it like I don't remember where I bought it. I feel like I bought it for like $9.80 or something like that and sold it like 14 or 15.
Oh my God.
I bought it around 10 at some point. I think it was maybe slightly under 10. I don't remember. But
okay, so you think
Buffett
that
started buying when they acquired Anadarko because they needed Buffett to come in on the deal. He got favorable terms. I don't think he was buying back in 2018, 2019.
interesting. Do you like Oxy or ET is your main play?
Dude, Oxy's a great company. They got huge amount of acreage in the Permian. Look, I like pipelines. I like Enbridge a lot. Enbridge is 29 years of consecutive dividend growth at I want to say
BP. BP past 5 years is down 6%. It was
I like BP. They've had some trouble, but I think they're a good company. I like them. I own them. I own Exxon. But I'm a pipeline guy. I like Enbridge a lot. Enbridge is the triple threat. Nobody has what Enbridge has. Enbridge is going to have the largest gas utility in North America once they close on this acquisition from Dominion. Right now, they have the third largest utility in North America with their assets in Canada.
Let me ask you this question, Steve. Your name is Dividend Streams.
Yeah.
But this year, dividends haven't really been good compared to growth, right?
Okay.
So what would you say to the people that stuff their money into O and Walgreens and all this stuff for the dividend versus big tech? Like, would you say that was a bad philosophy this year?
No, people, I say this all the time. People invest for different reasons. People have different needs. Not everybody needs growth. Not everybody needs to be in big tech. Not everybody needs dividends. Everybody has different needs with investing. Everybody's at different stages in life. People have different investment philosophies. There's always going to be a debate between growth and value. There's always going to be a debate between dividends and capital appreciation. I like everything, but I really like dividends, especially from REITs, because I have no interest in being a landlord. And I don't want to do any of that.
So how much dividend income streams do you get per month?
I have a bunch of companies that pay me every month.
Is it in the 5 figures? At least answer me that. Is it in the 5
I
figures?
have a lot of companies.
So it's in the dude. You get at least 10 grand of fucking dividends.
I didn't say that.
You're probably that's
You're
insane.
making assumptions. Look, I am looking at dividends.
Okay, no, but answer my question. What if the stock value depreciates even though you're getting the dividend? Do you still feel like you're making money or you're actually net negative?
If I'm long on a company, what the hell do I care? Every quarter or every month, depending on how the frequency of the dividend is, I'm getting more shares because I reinvest everything. So if I'm a long-term shareholder, do I really care that Verizon's going down? No, because every 3 months it's paying me and I'm buying more shares with their money from their EPS. I am a partner. They are paying me a portion of the EPS to be a shareholder. Do I really care if my long-term thesis says that Verizon's undervalued? No, I don't. Is my long-term thesis going to be correct? Only time will tell. I could be wrong, but that's why I like diversification. And a portion of my capital goes to income producing assets because I fully plan on retiring off of dividend income. And my 401 and all my other stocks will just be additional money. That is the goal.
Well, you're 41 right now. When do you want to retire?
I don't know. We'll see.
Like before 50? You want to? Or
I don't know.
it is interesting because you do. I mean, yeah, if you have a dividend.
Here's the thing you got to think about. Healthcare is so damn expensive.
Right.
So I don't know that it really makes sense to retire before 65.
But healthcare, even the most expensive plans, it would be like what, $1,200, $1,300 a month? That
I would think it's going to be more for married couple.
Yeah, for married. So you're talking about more like $3-4 grand a month.
I would think that it would be significant. Plus, even when you go on Medicaid or Medicare, whatever it is, you're still going to need supplemental.
Yeah.
So,
and your job covers all of that, so you don't have to worry about it. Really.
Look, healthcare is expensive, and I don't know that it really financially makes sense to truly retire until you get to that age where you're only paying for the supplemental.
Do you think someone in their 20s like me should be working their ass off to try to retire by 40? Or you still believe that you should just work till you're 65 because of the healthcare argument?
Oh, listen, you got to answer that for yourself.
Because don't people think like the goal in life is to retire and then do whatever they want?
There's a whole FIRE movement, but I know people that are scared to death of the idea of retirement because they love what they do and they could retire tomorrow if they wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, I think everybody's different, and I think everybody should be trying to put themselves in the best position they possibly can, but you don't know if you're going to get bored or not retiring. Only you can answer that. Having enough money to be financially free and be able to retire could be just as good as retiring.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I don't know. I look at things a little bit differently. I don't know. I like what I do. I'm in no rush to retire.
You like it so much you didn't come to Vegas for my birthday. That's how much you like it.
It's my busy season.
I know. Too busy to come to my birthday. I get it.
My busy season. Look, you should be putting as much away as you possibly can.
I agree.
I can tell you that. And I think that we have a very serious problem in this country. And I do think that social media is partly, I'm not going to say to blame, but it is enhancing what everybody sees. And I don't understand how people afford everything they buy.
Oh, well, buy now, pay later.
It's not just that. I really don't understand. Like the amount of people I see walking around with Louis Vuitton bags and everything else. I don't get it.
Dude, this iPad is the first thing I've bought for myself in like 10 years. That's like a real big purchase.
But once again, it's a different expense.
Yeah.
You use it, you're going to use it all the time. It's a different expense.
No, I agree with you. I can't imagine buying a Louis Vuitton bag and acting like I'm cool because I have an L and a V on a bag. Like I'm just not that type of guy. I respect other people that love showing off their brands, but it's tough. Dude, this same shirt, if it had a little swoosh next to it, would be $40. I paid $8 for this. I've worn it like 30 times.
I mean, look, I don't know. I don't judge. I just think that when you look at the level of debt out there and you look at the reports about the amount of adults that cannot afford $1,000 unexpected payment, and it just makes you wonder why everybody is so quick to go on vacation or to go out to eat or to go buy this or go do that. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And it goes back to this person on Twitter that I replied to a couple of times and then blocked them just because, or I don't know if I blocked them or unfollowed them. I think I
blocked somebody. Wow.
No, I unfollowed them, I think, because I was sick of seeing their stuff come up. The whole credit card thing. Like trying to be a mini Dave Ramsey. And I'll never say anything bad about Dave Ramsey because of the amount of good that he's done, but I think he's wrong on two things. I think he's wrong on credit cards, and I think he's wrong on the retirement thing. The retirement thing does not make sense. I've ran the numbers. It does not make sense what he said at all. It just doesn't.
Yeah, Dave Ramsey's an interesting character.
but he does a lot of good for a lot of people.
I agree.
And, you can't take that away from him. And
He's like a $500 million empire, bro. It's like a big company.
Forget the amount of money he's made. He has done a lot of good for a lot of people, and the guy deserves a lot of respect.
Yeah.
Right. But the idea that credit cards are bad is crazy. Even Mark Cuban, cut up your credit cards. No, that normal people that do not have $5 billion in the bank need to build credit.
Right.
Fact.
Right.
You don't build credit by not using a credit card.
Right. Yeah. Your
People,
credibility comes from your good credit.
People get themselves in trouble because they don't have discipline. A credit card cannot charge something on it itself. So you really need to look at it in perspective that everybody is responsible for their own actions, and using a credit card is just a tool. Like, one, why would you want to walk around with a huge wad of cash in this day and age?
I agree.
That's one.
I agree.
2, there's fraud protection on a credit card. 3, you establish credit. And 4, you get money back. Like, if you have a certain credit card that's an Amazon card, I think you get like 3 or 5% back on certain Amazon purchases. There are certain credit cards that have 2 or 3% back on groceries.
Dude, my flight to Vegas was free because I had miles because of my credit card.
You look at it from that perspective. You're leaving, you want to talk about being a financial whatever and talking about finance on Twitter. How can you deny the fact that you're leaving money on the table by not using a credit card? Like, that will never freaking ever get old to me. This person that I'm specifically speaking about continuously bashes it. But once again, if you're paying it off every month, why wouldn't you want to get money back?
Yeah, I don't get it. I think it's because people are so afraid of the debt mentality, right?
If you pay it back in every month and you use it responsibly, if your monthly bills for groceries and everything else is $800 a month, okay, and you were going to pay that $800 a month in cash, why wouldn't you just pay it on a credit card and then get the 1% back?
I feel like people are afraid that they're going to forget to pay back the credit card, but that's just a silly reason to, like, you just pay it back immediately. That's what I do.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't wait.
It just makes everything so much simpler. And then using a debit card online is one of the stupidest things you can do.
Yeah, agreed.
It's one of the stupidest things. Why would you use something that's linked to your bank account? Like, really grasp that idea. You're using something you would rather use a debit card that is linked to your bank account than a credit card that has very specific fraud protection. Like, in what world does that make sense?
You're right.
These people are fucking stupid. I have no problem telling them they're fucking stupid.
This is what I was looking for. It took 2 hours to get here, but we got it. We finally got it. There we go.
I will have that debate with any of these fucking morons because they're fucking stupid. Like,
this is what I needed to do to get you off. I needed to.
No, it's just one of those things.
Credit card. That's what it is.
Everybody is accountable for themselves, but credit cards don't get you into trouble. You get yourself into trouble. Like, that's the biggest thing. Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
So you would disagree with Dave Ramsey on this, or is he anti-credit card?
Of course. Why would you? It just goes back to, why would you spend the money? Look, if you're going to go make a purchase, arbitrary thing. Let's say you're going to go buy a $2,000 computer.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you have the $2,000 in cash. Why are you going to go spend $2,000 in cash when you can run on a credit card, not walk around with the cash, and then just pay your credit card with that $2,000?
And if it's a MacBook and it's Apple, you get 3% cash back.
Yeah, there you go. Like, in what world does that make sense?
Style says, where was the ball dropped? Are parents or school not teaching this?
Oh, we can stay here for the next week about this one. We need to overhaul schools so much. Like, the curriculum in school is so ridiculous that we allow any teenager to come out of high school without a high level of financial literacy when it is the most important thing that we can be teaching young adults. I'm sorry, but the majority of high school students will never use a single thing of chemistry that they have to sit through.
That's facts.
Okay,
I mean, like you do need to have chemistry with women, right? And outside of that,
I am not disrespecting chemistry or any of these other classes. What I'm saying is if you want to go into a specific profession, it is a prerequisite and you need it and you need to understand it. Okay. I don't want to come off like a anti-science person or an anti-something person. Okay.
No, but like the mitochondria and ribosomes are enough. After that, we
But
don't
I am
know any more.
sorry. There are so many classes that do not need to be taken by every student, and financial literacy should be a core. It should be bigger than arguably one of the 4 core classes. The 4
So
core
we got
classes are
math,
what?
science,
Math,
English.
science, English, and social studies are the 4 cores.
Okay, if you had to, I mean, I would say science, but no, you don't want to discourage engineering. I feel like.
How about this? How about this? Is algebra that important?
Well, it provides the gateway for calculus and you know.
But
like, you know what I
hold
mean?
on, is calculus that important? Like,
Well,
really
you
think
need,
about
you
it.
need computer programmers and STEM people and
hold
math
on.
majors.
And what I'm saying is, if you're interested and you want to go into those fields, it absolutely is. But for the average person, it's not that important. Like,
I agree. I agree. For the average person, it's not going to make a
for
difference.
the average person, most of what they are forced to sit through, and it's not just high school, it's college too. Like, I don't believe that a bachelor's degree should be 4 years. It should be 2 years. There should be no reason anybody needs to sit through an art history class or anything like that. It is ridiculous. It is just
okay. So out of the big 4, which one would you decrease a little bit in importance to uplift financial literacy?
I wouldn't get rid of any in its entirety. I would redo it based on what the students' interests are, because there's just sitting through some of these classes. Like, not everybody should have to go through chemistry because they're just not going to use it.
Right.
Not everybody should have to go through calculus because they're not going to use it.
Correct.
But everybody is going to use a credit card. Everybody is going to need to
Good point.
have banking. Everybody eventually is going to need some type of loan, whether it's a personal loan, a mortgage, a student loan. People should have to understand debt. They should have to understand credit. They should understand investing. Most people should understand that if you invest a certain amount a month, every month for the next 40 years in an S&P index fund and do nothing else, by the statistics, you should have X amount of money.
And see, very few people, like, I had to beg my sister to max out her Roth IRA. I had to literally take her phone and transfer the money.
It's not just maxing out, it's what you're putting it into.
No, I get it. But like, she wouldn't even do the bare minimum of just
I get it.
transferring, you know.
And it drives me nuts because we do not have the school system set up to teach this. Like, there needs to be personal finance 101 in every
Okay,
high
but here's
school.
the question. Do the parents do personal finance or the school institutionalize it? I mean, what do you think?
Do you know, like, I don't know that half the adults are good with personal finance. Like, it should be something that is taught in schools. I don't know.
I think we don't take away math, science, or
I'm not saying take away anything. I'm just saying that somehow you need to fit personal.
I know. But
finance
so
in it.
my thing is either you take away the electives like art and music and you replace it with financial literacy, which
I'm
I'm
good
okay
with
with,
that. I'm good with that.
or you decrease the level of importance of like social studies and learning about World War II and maybe English and not having to read Huckleberry. What is that?
I'm good with that.
I think like math and science, let's keep those, but let's get rid of like, we don't need reading
I got
comprehension.
news for everybody. English is probably the stupidest freaking class you can take.
What's the
in high
stupidest one?
school. English. What do you really need to know the definition of a pronoun or any of that? Like, come on.
Yeah, you probably don't. I mean,
Come
look,
on.
I'm Miss
In
Sockwell.
all
If you're watching, I'm
seriousness.
sorry, but the class just didn't matter that much.
In all seriousness, between and people can come at me for this, I don't care. Between Grammarly, between spell check,
No, you're right.
between all the different things that you have embedded in these programs, between all the helpers you have for writing emails, you don't need to sit through these English classes. Like, it's crazy to think that we are still forcing people to read books that have no meaning about anything. Sorry. Like, have them read a personal finance book.
I think you're right, dude. I had to take a financial literacy class in my senior year just to get through it, and I literally just like pressed buttons just to get through it because it was some random requirement.
Think about this. Seniors are graduating at 18 years old, probably half of them, because graduation is in June. So June is the 6th month in the year. Possibly around 50% of seniors are 18 years old. What can you do at 18? You can get a credit card. You can take on student debt.
Yeah.
Why are we not equipping people to understand what they're doing.
You can take on $100 grand in student debt at 18 too, which is.
And how about the whole student debt thing? How about we redo everything? How about we make it where student debt, I mean, right now it's protected in bankruptcy court. How about you make it where it's part of bankruptcy court? How about you make it where, I got news for everybody, maybe taking on student debt to go get a liberal arts degree from a college that costs 50 or 60 grand a year may not be the best idea. Just saying. Like, there, maybe going to a community college for 2 years or going to a state college for 4 years, you're going to get a better ROI on that.
But so here's my question. We've been having these arguments for a long time. What generation is it? My kids, where you think it actually flips? And we like, because it should be my generation, because we're interested in the markets. At least there's some level of retail, you know, like my kids are going to be educated.
And look, I am all for college. I'm all for graduate programs. But I think that what some of these institutions charge is ridiculous. And think about how hard people have to work and the financial stress it puts on them, having to pay back 100 grand, 200 grand, 300 grand.
Insane.
It's
I still have 10 grand that I'm paying back right now. Yeah.
It's insane.
But see, by my senior year, I paid back 40 grand of my loans because I got a job. My senior year, I started making money, started a little business. So, I mean, I took on the personal responsibility, but a lot of people, you know, they don't do that. They just go to class and they party, and which
is fine. But at the same time, you're walking out of college with a huge number that not everybody is making six figures coming out of college.
Yeah.
Got news for everybody.
That's true.
And when you start thinking about how much a student loan repayment plan is, and you start looking at what the real world is and how much money you're making coming out of college, it gets really tight really quick. And I just don't think we do enough to equip these young adults into this. It's not good.
And I think you have to have a skill set that, if you don't have a skill set that's monetizable and you have the debt, then there's no way you can make it on your own. You're at the mercy of a corporation. Like, because you can't monetize yourself, right? You can't start a business. You can't monetize your skills, which means you got to get a job. And if you can't get a job because the major is, you know, not good, it's a tough spot.
It's, you know, there are a lot of professions that are great, but the amount of money that colleges charge is crazy to get these degrees.
Yeah.
Like, think about how long you got to go to school to become a social worker. Like,
dude, I just went to school. I graduated 2020. I didn't learn shit for 4 years, bro. It was a party. It was a literal party. That's why I started a business, because I needed to make some money.
You need a lot of jobs. Okay. You need a lot of very important jobs. And the amount of money that these people come out with is crazy that they're saddled with. Like, it is really nuts. And I think that I think the shift is going to come when people start realizing that they can make more money becoming an electrician or a construction worker or doing something like that and not having to take on student debt. I mean, I know some electricians that make some pretty good money. I know some plumbers that make some pretty good money.
But see, I want my kids to go to college to get, like, the college experience is still, like, really special to me. I feel like they should get it, but I want them to try to pay for it like I did. I paid for like half of it. My parents helped me with the other half, because that taught me a lot of responsibility. Like, when you got to sign a check for 15 grand your senior year and give it to Rutgers University, that teaches you some fucking responsibility, right?
Yeah, it gets real quick.
I would want my kids to actually learn how to make money and do something versus have dad pay it off, you know?
Yeah, I mean, look, I completely get that. I just think that colleges are out of their minds with what they charge. I think that we don't do enough to prepare young adults for the real world of finance. And we should probably be, I don't see the harm in equipping people with the tools to succeed. And that's not for most people taking chemistry.
I agree.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. And these colleges need to shape up. I mean, you look at how, I couldn't believe how much UConn is for out of state. Like, one of my coworkers, her daughter is seriously considering that. And it's like, it's crazy how expensive it is. Crazy. I mean, I don't know. I feel bad for a lot of these young adults. I really do.
Walter White did use chemistry. He learned how to, you know.
Yeah.
Aztec says, if I have kids, I'm gonna teach them about the stock market, money, how to learn a different language. Yeah, and I would put music there. I would get my 3-year-old in piano lessons immediately because I think it stimulates the brain. I also selfishly wanted to learn music and I never did, so I would make the kid learn music. But I think communication skills also is a big thing. Like if you can communicate, you can get far in life.
There's a lot of important things. Don't get me wrong, but
It's not chemistry. It's not fucking chemistry. That's for sure.
For some people, it is.
For some people,
but not for everybody.
Right. And if you really look, if my thing is, if you want to be a doctor, you don't find that out when you're like 22 or 20. You find that out at like 13, 14, which means you should then go down a path in high school.
Biology, all that stuff.
Right.
100%.
Because you're on that path.
Yes.
Versus like, I discovered myself, it's sophomore year. I'm going to like being a doctor is like a 15-year commitment. You don't come to that realization that, and if
Everybody
you do, then
uses personal finance. That's my biggest gripe. Everybody uses it. We need to be equipping young adults with that knowledge.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, we're not, and it doesn't make any sense to me. Like it pisses me off so much. Really does.
All right. Steve, we've kept about 350 people here for almost 3 hours, which is pretty incredible. That's because of you. I tell you, every time you come out, you bring an audience. I don't know how.
You want to just go to the 3-hour mark, make it official?
Okay, so we got 10 minutes. What do we talk about? Put in the chat any conversation you want to hear for the last 10 minutes to finish up 3 hours. This is December 27th. Carlos just had a baby. Awesome. Heading into the end of the year. I guess let me ask you this question. What was your favorite thing about 2023?
I don't know.
What are you looking forward to in 2024?
I don't know.
Okay, so then why don't you like Bitcoin?
At this point, everything is kind of the same. So
I feel like we need some excitement in your life. We need to go do some blow.
No.
I think I've never done it. You would be the first guy.
I've never done it either. I'm never going to do it, so it doesn't matter.
I don't know if you've never done it. You answered a while ago pretty confidently about.
No, that's one thing I've never done.
Okay, what's your most expensive bottle of wine or alcohol that you have?
Probably.
I have the Don Pesquito 1942.
I have a bottle of Michter's 10-year that I haven't opened yet.
Wait, you haven't opened it for 10 years?
No, it's a 10-year aged whiskey. Okay. I think it's like $2.99 a bottle. Of a bottle of Johnny Blue, but that's nothing special. That's a $1.99 or $2.08, whatever it is. I don't collect wine or any of that stuff.
So when are you drinking it?
Right now, I've been drinking Buffalo Trace. It is becoming my favorite whiskey, and it is freaking cheap, and it is so good.
Buffalo Whiz. Okay.
Trace.
What do you like? Jack Daniel's honey?
I've never tried it.
I think it's phenomenal. It's the best whiskey I've ever had.
I've never tried it. Buffalo Trace is awesome.
Okay.
But I'm also that person that I wouldn't be able to tell you if a $5,000 bottle of Michter's was put in front of me or the 300 bottle. I couldn't tell you the difference.
Okay. What is your most expensive Pokemon card?
Oh, that's I guess technically I don't know because I have a couple of unopened cases that I don't even know what's in there. So hard. But individual, one of the Charizard PSA 10s.
How many rate cuts are we getting next year? I think we're getting 4, like max, to be honest.
2 to 3.
You think it's going to be
3? Because there's too many things to say. I mean, there's so much data that could change that makes the Fed do different things. But right now, we could either get 3 25 bips or 50 and a 25. I mean, I think right now, look, you got to go by what Powell said. Powell has not changed or deviated from what he has said on the way up. Why would he deviate on the way down unless the data shows him that he needs to? I think you got to take him at face value until something changes.
I think he would not be that dovish unless he was saying Joe Biden or Trump, whatever, we've got your back. I think the Fed has got the economy's back next year. And that pivot, that dovish pivot, was just a hat tip to the economy that we're going to have your back next year. I think so.
I don't know that they need to do more because you look at the debt that's maturing. It's over a 2-year period, this wall of $1.7 trillion. That doesn't mean it's all coming due in 2024.
Well, so commercial real estate is.
So you can get away No, it's 2024 and 2025. It's over the next 2 years.
Oh, okay.
So you
Okay.
can get away with going to 4.6% and then 3.6% in 2025 and still be very good to the commercial real estate.
Okay. Steve, is MO a smoking deal at $40?
I love it.
That's a cigarette company, right?
Yeah, it's Altria Group.
What is their dividend? It's like 14% or something.
9.8%, something like that right now.
And when did you say, you texted me about this stock a while ago? When did you text me?
Low 40s. I mean, it's been fluctuating in the low 40s. Look, this is a company that is being trashed because of the sector it's in. It can certainly go lower.
Wait, the sector meaning cigarettes?
Yes, tobacco industry.
Okay. So, but why is cigarettes as a sector being trashed right now?
Oh, cancer and everything else.
But that's been around for years. Why now?
Now remember, they own 10% of Budweiser. They have
Wait, Steve, what was the company that was in the trans issues problem? Was that Bud Light or Budweiser?
same company.
Oh, so it's okay. Gotcha. All right, go ahead.
Parent company's ABV.
Anheuser-Busch. Yes, Anheuser-Busch.
Look, Altria is projected to increase their EPS every year. They are projecting that they're going to grow the dividend by mid-single-digit growth every year through 2028. This is a deal that basically finances itself as long as nothing changes. And when you look at the forward EPS, I mean, they're buying back shares, very profitable company, good balance sheet.
And you feel zero moral issues with profiting off people getting lung cancer from cigarettes?
Am I forcing them to smoke?
Dude, that's such a Bobby Axelrod answer. That's such a fucking Bobby Axelrod answer.
Like, everybody, look, if smoking was not legal, I would not be investing in it.
Right.
But the last time I checked, it is 100% legal.
Damn. So your argument is people make their own decisions. I'm financing a company that is giving people the opportunity to engage in a cigarette. It is up to them if they, but you need people to keep smoking it in order for the company to grow. So you need people to keep dying off cigarettes, technically. Let
me ask you something. How many people die of heart attacks?
I would say a lot.
How many people die from clogged arteries and all that stuff? You don't see anybody really getting on Oreos or freaking Chips Ahoy or freaking any of that stuff.
It's a good point. It's a good point.
I'm just saying, like,
sugar is the craziest drug in the world, right?
Listen, I've had my bouts with sugar. Like, it is the hardest thing to kick. Hardest thing.
Yeah.
But no, I'm okay with it. But look, if it becomes illegal, then it becomes illegal. I'm good with it right now.
It's not good. No one's going to make smoking illegal. So I don't think that's a concern. I was just concerned about how you think about the moral perspective, but you believe what you believe.
And let's put it this way. They own 40 or 45% of Kronos Group, is it? I always forget what marijuana company.
Yeah.
But look, Biden just pardoned everybody on a federal level for smoking. Okay. We're going down a road where weed is probably going to be legal in the next 3 to 5 years. Okay. When that happens, who is better fit to I agree. I'm not giving up ice cream either. The real question is what brand. That would be the last topic, because that's a very serious topic.
I think I know what type of brand you like. I'll say.
I have different flavors from different brands. Like, I am a fucking ice cream.
I think we're about to geek out over ice cream because I know exactly which one what type of.
But when you think about legalizing marijuana and what company is going to be in the best position to mass produce, it's the company that mass produces Marlboro. You're going to have packs of cigarettes. Instead of cigarettes, they're going to be joints. They have the infrastructure. They got everything. So that could be a huge catalyst in the future. So I'm buying it for the dividend now because I think there's still revenue and EPS growth in it. And if marijuana does become legal, I think you're going to have a full resurgence in this business. So it's interesting to me at this level. You're also buying it at a freaking high single digit PE, I think.
Okay, cool. So let's do the ice cream thing real quick. Are you familiar with the brand Eddie's?
Yes.
And Turkey Hill. Baby. What about Turkey Hill?
Yes.
Okay, I think you like cookies and cream from Eddie's.
I'm not a cookies and cream guy.
Ah.
I don't hate on it. It's just not, if I'm going to a store, I'm not buying cookies and cream.
Okay.
Well,
I think but I got the brands right. Eddie's and Turkey Hill, you buy those, right?
I would buy Turkey Hill over Edie's.
Okay, perfect. So from Turkey Hill, okay, so you're not a cookies and cream guy. That's my favorite, cookies and cream. I think you're the fudge swirl, vanilla fudge swirl. Okay,
so
hold on, give me one more try.
I'm gonna give you no, hold on. I love chocolate. Okay, I fucking love chocolate. I do not like chocolate ice cream unless it is a Carvel cake with the vanilla and the chocolate and the crunchies in between. Okay. And I also do not believe in putting chocolate sauce on ice cream. Because if I wanted chocolate sauce on my vanilla ice cream, I just would have got chocolate ice cream. Now I will put caramel on vanilla because they go together. Go on.
This is the brand for those that don't know. You might not have seen it if you're not in the States, but I think it's a pretty national brand. Damn. Okay, so let me get some guesses. Chocolate chip cookie dough. You like that?
I am a big fan of chocolate chip cookie dough.
Okay, so I got you on that. I'm sure you have one more that you really like, right?
But that's a flavor. That's not a brand. And I didn't say that I'm buying Turkey Hill.
No, I thought you said you. Okay, so what flavor do you
like? Turkey Hill, and I said I like Edie's. I didn't say I was buying them.
Okay, so what brand do you like most?
All right, so I break it down. There's certain things from certain brands. If I'm getting coffee ice cream, I'm getting Haagen-Dazs. Like, there's no question. There is no other brand that makes a better coffee ice cream than Haagen-Dazs. You're on mute.
I was going to say Haagen-Dazs is German, right?
Good question. I think so.
I think it is. I think it's German.
They're owned by General Mills.
Coffee from Haagen-Dazs. Okay.
There's no better coffee than, and not coffee chip. Don't make that mistake. Straight coffee ice cream.
Okay. What's next?
There's no better than that.
What about this brand? You've seen this brand in like Walgreens, Gelato, Talenti.
Very good. But it's not ice cream. But it's very good.
Not ice cream. Okay.
They make some very good gelato. Okay. The next one is we're going Ben & Jerry's.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Cherry Garcia.
What is this? I've never heard of this before.
All-time classic for me. It is so good.
What is this?
Oh my God.
Cherries with
so
strawberry, right?
No, it is. Go to the actual Ben & Jerry's website. Like Ben & Jerry's has some crazy flavors I think are disgusting, but they make some really unbelievable stuff. And I do prefer Ben & Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough over some other companies.
Cherry Garcia. Why is the name Cherry Garcia?
For Jerry Garcia from the Grateful Dead.
I have no idea. Okay, that's fine.
Yeah, it's cherry ice cream with chunks of cherry and dark chocolate, I believe. Like it is so good.
Dude, I can't eat ice cream with fruits in it, bro. I just like I don't.
It is very good.
Okay.
They have another one, American Dreamin', while you're on the website. Oh my God. It's heaven.
Is this what, Rocky Road or something?
American Dreaming or American something. No, it's Americone Dreaming, something like that. Hold on.
This is why Google's not dying, folks. We need the Americone Dream ice cream.
Yeah. Oh, dude. Vanilla ice cream with. Oh, it's so good.
Dude, I haven't had ice cream in so long. Like a real cup of ice cream. I have cookies and cream is my go-to though.
Now,
my go-to.
Mint chocolate chip.
Okay, hold on. Before you say anything. Mint chocolate chip is the most disgusting thing I've ever had.
Oh, dude, so good.
Dude, you're eating like toothpaste with ice cream.
Oh, no.
This is just, dude. You know how you were going off about the other person about credit cards? I don't understand how someone can eat toothpaste with vanilla ice cream and then put chocolate chips in it. Like, no. Like, could you imagine brushing your teeth and then eating vanilla ice cream? That's basically what you're doing.
I'll brush my teeth with mint chocolate chip ice cream.
You're putting Colgate into fucking ice cream and taking a bite out of it. That's
you know what flavor from Edie's I really, really like?
What?
They're black cherry.
I can't fuck with cherry, dude.
Oh, it's so good. So good. And then from just a straight vanilla ice cream, I really do think that the Haagen-Dazs.
I agree. It's different.
But different. It can't be vanilla. It's
French vanilla.
No, it's got to be vanilla bean.
Vanilla bean.
got to be vanilla bean.
I knew it.
I
Vanilla bean. Yep.
don't think that there is another vanilla that can mess with it.
I agree.
really don't.
And if you have the smoothie at like the kiosks, the vanilla bean smoothie from Haagen-Dazs, oh my god, it's amazing. I had it in California once. It's amazing.
But when it comes to coffee, if I'm really feeling crazy, I will put Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream in the bottom of my cup, and I will brew fresh coffee on top of it.
Really?
Dude,
Well,
it'll change the game for you.
Hold on. You eat Haagen-Dazs coffee ice cream. while
You
drinking
drink coffee?
No.
Okay. So if you drank coffee, okay, and you have a single serve coffee machine, instead of brewing your coffee into a cup and then pouring half and half or whatever you put in it, instead of doing that, put like 2 scoops of Haagen-Dazs ice cream at the bottom of your cup and then brew the coffee on top of it. Oh my God. It is freaking amazing.
Huh.
Like, straight up amazing.
We got mocha almond fudge in the chat. That's a good hint. I got to try it one day. James says, I have an interview tomorrow morning. I don't want to get off. We're going to end it right now, but it's interesting. I got to try. We got to get some ice cream in February when we meet up. We got to get some ice cream.
Dude, ice cream is so good. And I'll tell you what I think the most overrated is. Cold Stone.
Oh, 100%.
So I know people
the brand is not good, dude. The ice cream is not good.
I know people that love it. I think it is so overrated.
It's so bad.
So bad. Oh,
dude, it's like it's hard. It's not really soft. It's just not it. It's not.
Do you like cookies?
I love cookies. Chips Ahoy, Oreos.
So what's the best cookie?
Look, I struggle. I've thought about this for at least 20 years.
I go back and forth. Is Oreo really Milk's favorite cookie?
Yes, Oreo is one. Well,
is it really Milk's favorite cookie? I don't know.
If you put a gun to my head right now and said Chips Ahoy or Oreos, gun to my head, I would really think, but before the bullet goes through.
Wait, hold on. Why does it have to be a Chips Ahoy? Why can't it just be a chocolate chip cookie?
Well, yeah, chocolate chip. That's what I mean.
Because there's no other Oreo, but there are many chocolate chip cookies.
Correct. But you can't say chocolate chip versus a sandwich cookie because no sandwich cookie compares to an Oreo. An Oreo is a very specific one. I would pick Oreo, gun to my head, because there's something about the cocoa.
Something about it, right? There's just something about it.
Something about it.
Now, do you deviate to the different types of filling?
I know they've made like a billion flavors in their efforts to expand the Nabisco brand over the past 10 years. I like regular white cream.
And where do Girl Scout cookies fall into this?
Oh, girl, those peanut butter ones? The peanut butter ones are my favorite.
Dude,
the mint ones are disgusting.
Samoas?
Samoas are not that. They're okay.
How about freezing Thin Mints?
No, because it's Colgate on a fucking cookie. That's what.
Really?
That's what you're eating. Yes, it's not good.
You don't get down with freezing Thin Mints.
I don't get down with mint inside of my sweets. I don't get it. It's like mayonnaise. Do you eat mayonnaise?
No, I think it's disgusting.
I don't get how you eat mint ice cream if you don't eat mayonnaise.
I think it's absolutely repulsive. I will not do it. No.
Mayonnaise is like legit. Like, if we were gonna ban something,
no.
Mayonnaise. It's just
no.
Dude, sometimes I go to Wendy's, Burger King, and they mess up and they put mayonnaise. I'm the Karen that goes in and I make them change it. I was like,
I would. No, I won't do that. No. Can't do it. I mean, it's just no. But like when it comes to a cookie, I got to give the edge to Oreo because I'm not necessarily always in the mood for a chocolate chip cookie, but I'll never turn down Oreos.
Me too.
And I think that's the way I got to define it because they're both amazing. There's never a bad time for an Oreo.
I want to go 10 years without eating an Oreo and then eat it one day when I'm like 35 or something and really experience what I felt when I was like 6 years old. Don't you think that would be a cool thing to do?
I don't know if you have to wait that long. I think you would get so what I noticed is I gave up all sweets for about 5 months and lost about 30 pounds.
Okay.
And then I've been eating like shit over the holidays and probably put back
Me
on
too.
10%.
Literally everyone in the chat agrees. Like everyone's done that. I lost 30 pounds. I gained 10 pounds back. It's ridiculous.
Well, the holidays, I did very strict paleo diet. So no sugar. The only thing that was off of paleo for me was putting half and half in my coffee. Okay. And I will tell you, the first time I drank a Coke was the other day. And I took a sip of it and gave it to my wife. I was like, this tastes like syrup. I can't do it.
Yeah.
And then the other day I had one, and now I just had another one. It tastes amazing to me now. But I think if you just give up all sugar for 3 months, you'll get that feeling with the Oreo.
I think I'm ready to do that, bro. I want to feel because I remember when I was 6 years old and like my mom packed me an Oreo for lunch in kindergarten, and just like that feeling of the Oreo. It's just, you can't replicate that, you know?
What do you think
Means a
about
lot.
chip riches?
There's a certain brand I like. I don't like the Nestle Toll House brand. I like a certain brand that my local corner store used to have. I don't know if it's super national, but I like chip witches. They're decent.
I think it's a great concept.
I think but it fails in execution many times.
No, I like it. I don't like it when they make it so thick. Like
Yes.
it's got to be big, but not too. Like I don't know. The ratio's got to be right on the ice cream. What are you thinking about the ice cream to cookie? It's just got to be right. Like the ice cream can't overpower the cookie.
I agree. 100%.
Like that becomes a ratio thing.
Yeah.
And then I got something because you live in the Northeast. Do you have Ralph's Italian Ices by you by any chance?
Yes, we
the
do.
most overrated thing
Yep.
in the world.
I agree.
Like, and this is what I'll say. Anybody who grew up in the Northeast that has like a real legit Italian ice place, Ralph's is the most overrated place. Forget it. Forget it.
Okay, I'm about to show you an ice cream, and either you will have a visceral reaction of I hate it, or you will say I love it. Maybe you'll be in the middle, but here we go. Everyone knows this. Raw thoughts. Klondike bars, good or bad?
Yeah, I'll have a Klondike bar. Sure, why not?
But you don't like it. You don't love it.
I'm not grabbing one.
I
I'm not
agree.
buying one. But I'm
The
not
Klondike
opposed to it.
Oreos I liked. Klondike Oreo bars are nice. Klondike Reese's peanut butter are nice, but regular
And look,
Klondike bars?
and here's the thing. I don't particularly like chocolate ice cream, and I'm not going to put chocolate sauce on ice cream. But a Klondike bar is different because it's actually milk chocolate candy with ice cream inside of it.
Correct.
So I'm fine with that, but I'm not buying it.
Okay, hold on. If you're a chocolate guy,
Oh, this is a very touchy subject. I have this debate all the time with people. My
okay, so
coworker,
the 5 main ones are Reese's,
oh no,
Hershey's.
no, hold on. You're talking candy bars. I'm talking chocolate. Two
No,
different.
I'm talking about candy. Let's just do candy. Let's
Do
surface
candy
level.
bars first. Let's do this. Okay.
Okay, there's
Rank 'em.
Reese's,
Yep.
there's Snickers,
Yep.
there's Kit Kat,
Mhm.
Hershey's, and
Mhm.
Twix. I think those. And
Oh,
those are
dude,
fine.
how can you not say Milky Way or Three Musketeers? How dare you, sir?
Okay, we'll put those up there. I never liked those, but we'll put the Milky Ways, Three Musketeers. Those are the 7. So I'll say it again: Hershey's, Milky Ways, Three Musketeers, Twix, Kit Kat, Snickers, Reese's.
Yep.
Almond Joy. Maybe you'll throw that up there.
Yeah, but that's a candy bar.
Carlos
but
loved
it's not
those. I'm like, I
not
don't
really a chocolate bar because of the
almond.
coconut and everything like that.
Yeah, it never gave me joy, and chocolate's supposed to give me joy. So
I'm gonna
okay.
say I judge everything off of Hershey's.
Okay, so
Every
your top
chocolate I
3,
judge-
your top 3 out of those.
Yeah, so every chocolate I judge off of Hershey's for the very simple. I like that, the Magnificent Seven.
I love
For the
that's good.
simple
That's
fact
good.
that Hershey's makes very good chocolate. Okay, like you're never not satisfied having a piece of Hershey chocolate.
100%.
So for me, that's always the standard. I judge every chocolate off of Hershey's. For the bars, I'm going to go
3, 2, 1. 1 is the best. 3 is the worst out of the top 3.
It's so hard because
I can go first if you want.
Snickers is so good,
Oh my
but I'm
God.
not always in the mood for one.
Yeah, and their
It's
advertising
really
has slowed down. By the way, like remember
for-
that Hungry
for-
commercial
like-
campaign they used to do? It slowed down.
And it's so important because for me, with the Reese's peanut butter cups, I can't have it without a glass of milk. Like I will not eat one if I do not have milk.
I need water. I don't really drink milk, but I see
Like
it.
I need milk to have one of those, and they're amazing.
Okay, so let's do number 3 at the same time. You have your 3. You have
Yeah.
your number 3.
I got my 3.
All right, I have my number
There's
3.
no way I got
On
it.
3, 2, 1, we're gonna blurt it out.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Milky Way
Twix. You put Milky Way up there, bro?
is number 3. Yeah.
You put Milky Way up there?
I love caramel.
Twix has caramel and it has the crunch.
Yeah, but Milky Way is just
But
something.
Milky Way is literally just like you know what?
No,
There's
it's
nothing
so
special
good.
outside of the caramel.
So good. So
Okay,
good.
Twix is up there. I mean, dude, the crunch on Twix is like to die for.
Yeah.
It's to die for. Like, okay, I've got my number 2.
Okay.
You got your number 2? All right.
I got it.
3. Don't say 3 Musketeers. If you do, I'm gonna kill you. 3, 2, 1.
Three
Snickers.
Musketeers.
Oh my god. That's why you made me add 3 Musketeers and fucking Milky Way at the end, because they're
Three
your top 3.
Musketeers is freaking amazing.
Even the chat agrees with me. Like, Milky Way is ridiculous, Steve. This is a bad take. It's just
No,
not
Milky Way is freaking great.
So 3 Musketeers, which is basically Milky Way without the caramel.
It's
Is-
Three Musketeers. Oh, hold on. So I got to think about. So hold on. I can't. 100-gram bar is in my top 3. I got to figure something out. 100-gram bar.
What the fuck is a
so-
100-gram bar? What is
You've
that?
never had.
Oh wait, that's
100
the yellow one. Is that the yellow
No,
one?
it's the red one. You've never had a 100-gram bar?
I'm
Oh
looking
my
at it right now.
god.
Oh, this 100 grand. No, I've
Dude.
had. Dude, this is disgusting. This is so sticky.
So good.
I had these for Halloween. I hated them.
Oh,
Bro.
it's so good.
They're so
so
sticky.
good.
I would
Oh,
put
dude.
crunch over this, dude. I'd
They're
put crunch
so
over this.
good.
put
Oh
a
my
crunch bar over
god.
Okay, so which one are you taking out? Milky Way?
I don't know. I'll leave it. I'll leave it. What's your number 1?
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Reese's.
Snickers.
Put Snickers up there. So Snickers was my. So I had
there's never-
Snickers. I had
It may
Snickers.
not be
No, I had Twix,
better.
Snickers, Reese's. That was me.
Snickers may not be better all the time, but it is the most clutch and always good. And
I don't know if no, it is the most clutch. You're right.
And I can always be in the mood for it. I may not always be in the mood for Milky Way, but I'm always in the mood for a Snickers. And I can't put Hershey up there because
Yeah.
Hershey is my standard. It's either you're above or below. Hershey's is just the standard. And I happen to think that their Crackle bar is better than a Hershey bar. Like
Have
when
you had
buy
the cookies and cream
miniature,
Hershey's version?
Hmm?
The cookies and cream Hershey's, the white one.
I've had it. It's okay.
I really like that one. Okay, so what do you think about Mr. Beast disrupting this whole industry?
All right. So I actually bought Mr. Beast bars.
It was trash,
Not
right?
impressed. Not impressed.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people say it was
Not
really-
impressed. Now, I love chocolate. The real question becomes Godiva, Lindt, that type of stuff.
Right,
Godiva,
right,
like,
right. Dairy milk.
oh,
There's a lot of them that are legit.
there are so
Yes,
many.
now Hershey's with the almonds, I think, is better than Hershey's with not.
Hershey's is good.
Hershey's with the almonds is amazing. I agree. Butterfinger is too. I don't know how to
It's good,
describe
but you
it.
got to be in the mood for it.
Yeah.
Like, I will tell you that I do not think Godiva is number 1. I think Lindt is better.
Like the Lindsor truffle.
The truffles are great. I mean, there's a lot of their a lot of their chocolate bars, like the big bars you get at the supermarket. So good, so good.
But so you don't think so? Edwin, our good friend from the Bear Cave, he wrote a report to short Hershey's a couple months ago.
Yeah,
Good.
have fun with that.
Mr. Beast was going to disrupt it. Do you think he has a point?
No,
You don't even think off the pure brand. Forget the
No.
quality.
no,
no
get the
way.
fuck out of here. That's one of the stupidest arguments ever.
Dude, as soon as that came out, I was like, all right, Palantir didn't get you the clicks you wanted. You think this shit's gonna get? You're going after the Mr. Beast audience, really?
So here's what I'm going to say to that. You can make an argument about cocoa prices and input prices of raw materials impacting Hershey's margins. Okay. In fact, I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind because I just wrote about it. It's probably one of the newest articles on Hershey's. Who the fuck writes about Hershey?
I'm gonna try some Mr. Beast this weekend. I'm gonna go get some because, I mean, dude, the marketing is amazing. I looked at some of their Instagram videos.
How about
yesterday.
this? Hershey. Oh, let me share this because this will blow your fucking mind. This guy.
Adam says he's paper trading Hershey right now. It is down over the past couple months, I think.
Okay. Hershey currently produces 4 of the top 10 selling candy brands in the U.S.
Oh my
Reese's
god.
Peanut Butter Cups is Hershey's. Okay.
Oh shit.
Hershey Bar, Kit Kat, and Twizzlers are all Hershey's.
I forgot about Kit Kat. That's such a good one too.
They also own, they do Rolo, Fifth Avenue, Milk Duds, Heath Bar.
They own Skinny Pop?
Skinny Pop they bought. Yeah. Dots Pretzels. Yeah.
Steve, we should make a brand and sell it to Hershey's.
I mean, they, I like the valuation where it is.
What's the dividend on Hershey? Let me check. Hershey's
2%, 2.5%, maybe.
It's at 183 6 months ago. It's down 26% from 250. So I mean,
Yeah, it's basically flat. It's down 1% from when I wrote about it.
year to
it's
date it's down
fine.
18. Why is it down 20% this year? What happened?
The input prices for raw materials went up, I believe.
Ah, that's fair. That's fair.
But is Hershey's ever going away? No.
No.
Is it ever going to get disrupted? No.
Yeah, and like Mr. Beast, I don't think they're just even if they poke Hershey's, I don't think they're disrupting Hershey's. Like,
Listen, if Mr. Beast's candy was good, it'd be a different story. Now, granted, I didn't try all of it. I bought a 10-pack of the milk chocolate bars because I'm a milk chocolate person. Not
you didn't do
dark.
these nuts
Definitely.
once?
And I gave some out to other people in my office, and I was not impressed at all. It really wasn't.
I gotta try it, dude. You're saying it's not better than a Hershey's bar? No way.
Not even in the same fucking realm.
Huh.
Something did not, the overall, from the couple of people that I spoke to at my office about it, I would say felt there was something missing from it. Like, I don't know. Very hard. You'll try it. You'll know what I'm talking about. There's something missing. Something
I'll try it this
definitely
weekend.
missing. But like candy, M&Ms. Are you an M&Ms person?
The yellow ones, man. The almond
So
ones.
peanut.
The peanut ones. I mean, I like the regular ones. Don't get me wrong, but the
Have
peanut
you
ones,
tried the caramel ones?
I have, and caramel is only good on Twix, in my opinion.
Okay.
I'm not
So good.
like a caramel toffee type. You know that caramal toffees you get in like just eating raw caramel. I'm just not. I don't know.
I love Charleston shoe bars, but I just too much of a job to eat them.
Yeah, it shouldn't be a job to eat. I should want to eat another one as soon as I'm done. You know?
Exactly. I agree with that.
What about Mr. Goodbar?
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I think my wife prefers Mr. Goodbar over the other ones. I probably prefer the Crackle over the other ones.
I like the crunch one. Yeah, crunch I like better.
And then
Go
chips. Chips. What type
Wait,
of
hold on. But before that, Reese's sticks. Have you had those? The peanut butter sticks?
I feel like I have. I'm not
Like
sure.
the wafers, basically?
Show me a picture.
Dude, if you haven't done these, you gotta eat these. These I'm addicted to. Like when I get something, this
I'll
is
go get them tomorrow.
Baby Ruth is not better. Whoever's Baby Ruth. I don't like Baby Ruth. This right here. You never had these?
I feel like I have. I feel
You're
like
gonna fall in love with these tomorrow. Get these tomorrow morning and
I
text
have
me.
not had one in years, probably.
No, so tomorrow's gonna be, dude. This is it's milk, it's peanut butter, crispy wafers. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it.
Yeah, I'll get it tomorrow.
You're gonna love it.
So what about chips? Because this is like a very. I'm a purist when it comes to this. I'm not into the salt and vinegar. I'm not into like the Cool Ranch or any of that stuff.
Look, here's my thing. I think barbecue and sour cream and onion are the two best flavors writ large when it comes to chips. Lay's is up there, but the purple Doritos, the really spicy ones, I love the most.
See, I'm good with the spicy. I'm good with that. I like barbecue. I am very much a fan of the Cape Cod potato chips.
Ah, those are good.
I think they're very good.
You know what's really good? The hot fries, Andy's hot fries.
Can't say I've had them.
Dude, and someone in the chat has had to have these. These are like $1.69.
Oh, somebody just say Sun Chips. I got to agree. Sun Chips are fucking great.
Sun chips are okay.
They're so good.
Sun chips are okay. Did someone just say dip them in ketchup? I've never done that. I've never done that.
Do you like steak?
Yes.
What is your favorite cut?
T-bone.
Okay.
You thought I wouldn't have an answer to that question, did you?
No, I'm just surprised you said T-bone.
Joke's on you. I know something from a steak menu. So
yeah, no, I'm surprised that you said T-bone. That's all.
Dude, I don't even know if I just like steak. I don't know if T-bone's the right answer.
I am a big fan of porterhouses and T-bones because you get the best of both worlds, in my opinion. I am I like a good ribeye that's not too fatty. Like the problem with ribeyes is sometimes they are too fatty, and I would prefer porterhouse.
Dude, that's what we got. When we meet up in February, we got to have steak and ice cream. That's what we got to do.
I fucking
It'll be
love-
like a date, like a legitimate date, you know?
dude.
What do you think about McFlurries? I haven't had this in like 10 years.
No, none of that. No, not eating fucking ice cream out of a fucking machine like that. No, fuck that. No.
Fucking M&Ms and
No, if you want something like that, go to fucking Carvel and have them make you something. Like, no. Stop.
What if it's 3 a.m., you're drunk, McDonald's is open?
Why are you eating ice cream if you're drunk?
That's a good point.
It's a recipe for disaster.
That's a good point.
Like if you're not pounding fucking Pedialyte, you're crazy.
That's a good point. All right. I think we got to end it, Steve. This is
Well, now we gotta go to 3:30 because it's 3:24.
so we got 6 minutes. We got
Fast food.
okay, fast food. Okay, so
And
my
I'm not a
opinion-
fast food person, but I do have my top 3.
okay, so you have your top. I have my number 3 on the count of 3. Oh fuck, no. This is okay. So let me just name them out: Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's. Do we consider Shake Shack and Chick-fil-A fast food?
Chick-fil-A, yes, because they have drive-throughs.
Right.
Does Shake Shack have a drive-through? Because I feel like in order to be fast food, you technically have to have a drive-through.
They are
Because
fast.
it's really fast if you have to get out of your car.
Okay, fuck Shake Shack. Then we'll put
I'm just
Chick-fil-A.
saying, like that. I think that's a legitimate question. Like, is Five Guys technically fast food if they don't have a drive-through?
Five Guys. Yeah, that's right. Five Guys also.
Now, if you want to go hamburger from these places, that's different because you're just saying the hamburger.
No, I'm talking about fast food, like the whole
Yeah.
experience. In and
I
out is
would
up
say,
there.
like anything with a drive-through would classify as fast food to me.
Okay, so I've got my 3. You got your 3. 3, 2, 1.
Burger King.
Burger King. Yeah, I was gonna do Burger King.
3. That's easily.
Okay, that's number 3. Let's do number 2.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Chick-fil-A.
Wendy's. Okay, I picked Wendy's. Let's do number 1. 3, 2, 1. Chick-fil-A.
McDonald's.
But why McDonald's, Steve? Like that's such an American answer. Like McDonald's is too like McDonald's.
why.
Like, do you even? When's the last time you had a Big Mac?
I don't need Big Macs.
That's my point. So what are you getting from McDonald's? Like a quarter
If I'm
pounder?
going for fast food, I do not eat fast food. Okay? If I'm going for fast food, because I don't necessarily Chick-fil-A, I'm only getting the chicken sandwich, and it's so fucking good that I don't necessarily really consider it fast food, even though it is. If I'm getting real fast food, I want the best fucking fries there is, and there's no better fry than McDonald's.
Yeah, right. You're right about that.
There is no better fry than McDonald's.
You're right about that.
And if I'm gonna kill my body with that, I'm getting those fucking fries.
But like the you just get a
And
hamburger.
their Coca-Cola is to die for.
Yeah, it's the best. I agree.
It is the best Coca-Cola you can get, other than Mexican Coca-Cola out of the glass bottle.
I agree. I think Chick-fil-A though is like the burger is so good and the fries are okay, but the burger is so damn good. It's got to be number 1 in my opinion.
I've only had the chicken sandwich from there.
I mean that's what I mean. The chicken sandwich. Sorry.
It's amazing.
What is the best steakhouse in New York?
Oh, dude, don't oh.
Is it Charlie Brown's Steakhouse? I picked the most fast food steakhouse brand I could think of. What about Tiffany's? Is it Tiffany's?
Okay, so
I think I've had steak in New York a couple
the
times.
problem with this answer is most people are going to sit here and say Peter Luger's,
Oh, Lunar Exclusion said Peter Luger.
which is the most overrated steakhouse there is.
Well, not Peter Luger. That's what they said.
I have nothing against Peter Luger's, but there are so many other very, very
All
good
right, so if someone
steakhouses.
comes to New York tomorrow, where do you take someone to get steak?
Man, this goes back. You know how I said I judge everything off of a Hershey bar? I would judge steak everything off of Morton's for a very, very specific reason. I have ate at Morton's so many fucking times, and I have never gotten a bad steak, and it's always been perfect. Now, it may not be the greatest steak in the world, but it is very fucking good. So you're either better or worse than Morton's. I am saying it's either going to be Smith and Walensky, Uncle Jack's on the west side, Old Homestead or maybe Del Frisco's.
Okay.
It's a very hard question to answer because there's so many awesome steakhouses.
Have you been to Texas Roadhouse?
No.
Their bread is the best, but KRIS Steakhouse, yeah, this is another fast food.
So I happen to like Chris, but you gotta like steaks with butter because they cook heavy butter on it. Like if you're not into that, you're not gonna think it's great. Delmonico's really good too. I like Del Frisco. Delmonico's so fucking good.
Wait,
too.
hold on. I think I got steak with a guy in July. I think he took me to Del Frisco's.
Del Frisco's is awesome.
Is that oh fuck, dude? I got it. I'm pulling up the picture real quick. I'm gonna see if Apple has the.
And there's
because it was really good.
I mean, there's a lot of good ones. STK's good.
I think it was Del Frisco's, man. Because I was like, I had good steak in New York, but I forgot where I went. Yeah, I think it was Del Frisco's. We were.
Oh, how did I forget Keen's? Yeah, Lunar. Keen's is so legit.
This was the steak, if you guys can see it. I don't know if it was I'm pretty sure it was Del Frisco's, though.
Yeah, it's hard because there's so many great fucking steakhouses in New York City. So many good ones. But I will say that I have never been to Rayo's, but Carbone's could be the best meal I've had in the city.
Carbone's
Very well could be. Carbone's is unbelievable. We drank a lot of wine that night, but it was unbelievable.
All right.
Like, I don't know that there's a better Italian place in the city or a better meal. I really don't. Like,
all right, we'll go there. We'll go there in February.
I got to figure out how to get us a reservation. It's so hard to get a reservation.
Steve. You're in the mafia. Okay, you're connected. You're connected. Okay, you make one call a guy that knows a guy, get a Carbone tonight.
Well, calling a guy that knows a guy is one thing. That could happen. But
wait, for what thing do you know the guy for that knows?
Huh?
You said you know a guy that knows a guy to get you one thing.
No, I said calling a guy that knows a guy to get into Carbones could happen.
So you do know someone?
I'm sure I could get us in if I really tried.
That's my point. You're well connected. You're in the mafia. If they do you wrong, you chop their fucking head off. That's what
Not in the mafia, but I'm pretty sure that I know somebody that could get me in. Unbelievable. You feel like
Callie and maybe Chris.
You feel like you're going to your grandmother's basement to have dinner. Like it is just, it's crazy. It's like straight out of Goodfellas. It's crazy.
I've never seen it. I'm down. I think it. Yeah.
Oh, if there's anybody in the chat that's from New York, it looks like there are definitely people in there. Don Pepe's could be one of the most overrated places, and a lot of people are going to hate me for that, but it could be overrated. And New Park Pizza, no, sorry, not happening. Not happening.
All right.
I mean, we could go on and on about food.
Pizza, yeah, we got to stop here.
Man, I had an idea for a podcast, not a podcast, like a YouTube channel called.
Well, let me just announce. Me and Steve are definitely starting our own pod on my channel, 2024. It'll be 2024, probably mid-January. It'll be one episode a week where we're talking about macro. That's it.
So, I wanted to start a YouTube channel called Cook For Me or something like that. Because there are two things people love. They love grilling and they love cooking Italian food.
Yeah.
And I would love to judge people's cooking. Come over for a nice meal. Cook me the best steak you can cook. Cook me the best lasagna you can cook.
That's great. Yeah. You just fucking sit there and eat. That's great.
Oh, my God.
Dude, one day I want a private chef that could just like make me gourmet shit every day that's healthy. I'm not at that level yet. But like you could afford it. Why don't you do that?
A private chef?
Not okay. Maybe they don't every day, but like a couple times a week. Like, you don't think you and your wife would enjoy just having someone handle the food, so your wife doesn't have to cook, you don't have to cook?
No.
You wouldn't want if you could afford that, would you do it?
No.
I would do it, dude. I wouldn't have to worry about cooking ever. That'd be amazing.
How hard is it to fucking cook?
It's not hard. It's just like nice to not have to worry about it. You know?
Like, here's the thing. There's a difference between meal prepping and cooking. Like, I'm not going to fucking meal prep and make fucking individual things, but seasoning a steak and letting it sit for a couple hours, then fucking grilling it is not that
I
complicated.
feel like you're making fun of people that pack a nice little box for 5 days of the week. Like,
I
that's
think it's a waste of time.
It's okay. That's not a waste of time. A lot of people do that. A lot.
I think it's a waste of time.
It literally saves time. I don't get how you think it's a waste of time.
How does it save time?
You don't have to cook for like 3 days and you get your packaged meals. It's like a lunchbox. It's perfect.
If you're really that concerned, get a pack of tuna. Eat raw tuna. Like, just think about how much time it takes to cook that amount of food and then cut it up.
5 hours on a Sunday. The fish and rice, it's not that bad.
Like, just freaking get a thing of tuna and eat it out of the can. Like,
Wait, so do you cook every day or do you eat out?
No, we cook / order.
See, that's what I'm saying. If you had a chef that could just do that for you,
You gotta remember something. I'm good legitimately eating a can of tuna. I'm fine with that. And a glass of water. I'm good. I don't care. I'm good going and getting a freaking steak, marinating it, and fucking grilling it. Like, I'm not difficult or complicated. Like, it's not, you know.
All right. Well, shout out to the 260 people that stayed to the last 3.5 hours. That's all because of you. I mean, you carried this. You did it. So thank you all for being here. We hope you guys enjoy this pod. Probably won't do an episode tomorrow. Carl's just had a baby. I know Steve's tired. Maybe Chris and I will do an episode. We'll see if Chris is up for it, but Vitaly's on vacation. So we'll see you guys in a couple days. And
I got coffee.
I still don't get how you drink the cold coffee. I don't get it. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. Love you guys. You guys are the OGs. It means the world to us. Remember this pod many years from now, knowing we stayed up talking about chocolate and chips until the end of the night.
Chocolate's legit.
I agree. I have a sweet tooth. I love it. I love chocolate.
I have such a sweet tooth. It's so bad. Oh, my God.
We'll see you guys later. Thank you, everybody. Have a good one. Good night.
Later.